Nice. Get a water.
See what it looks like on your phone.
You want me to use the charger?
Okay, good evening, everyone, again. Thank you very much for your patience. We are now going to call the meeting to order. We are now gaveling in. The time is now 6:35. I want to thank everyone for your patience as we just get organized. I want to welcome everyone to our last general board meeting for this board year. My name is Fred Baptiste. I'm serving as chair. I have with me at the dais, I have our second vice chair, Francisca Leopold. We have our treasurer, Minor Lagut, and a number of board members who are here this evening as well. And I want to thank all those members of the public who are also here as well to voice your opinions about what's going on in our district and the things that matter. It's always critical that we have that feedback, that input, because that helps us do what we need to do in terms of advocacy and making sure that the services are brought to the district that we deserve, that we pay for. So I thank everyone for your presence this evening. I want to say that for this evening, it is going to be a very packed agenda. We have a little bit of everything. We have land use issues we need to take care of. We have public safety liquor licenses we need to take care of, as well as OCM. We also have a couple of resolutions that we're going to be doing this evening as well. Today, I'm going to be going a little bit slower in terms of there are some aspects of the meeting that I want to make sure we go over just so that way everyone has an idea of where we are and why we're doing what we're doing. Especially I want to welcome our new members who are here for their second meeting. We didn't scare them away last month, but I thank you for coming back. I thank everyone for their commitment and their service to this district. I want to remind everyone of the rules of conduct. The rules of conduct are posted on the website. I believe they also are included as part of the agenda. But just to summarize, the only thing we ask for is respect for all the speakers, respect for each other. We understand that in a community as diverse as ours, there will be disagreements and we don't always see eye to eye. But the only thing we ask is that people are respectful in that disagreement. And we hope that as long as we can keep having the dialogue, we will get to solutions that hopefully move our district forward. We don't always get what we want, but hopefully the things we're doing and the things we're advocating for are for the greater good and they move Community District 9 forward. Okay, at this time, we are going to have a number of presentations. There are, as I said before, a number of resolutions we're going to be considering this evening. There are 2 resolutions for land use. There is also a resolution from our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Committee as well. And then there's also a resolution from our Transportation Committee as well. So the chairs will be called up shortly to give brief presentations about those, and those are resolutions we're going to be considering this evening. So to begin, if I could ask, could we have our land use chair, Suki Chung? And I would ask for all the chairs to please keep Suki actually has 2 recommendations. If you could please keep it to about 6 minutes.
Do you have the Franklin Avenue resolution in the packet?
It is not.
Oh, okay.
But they've been distributed, so.
Okay.
You can use mine. That's fine.
So the first resolution we have is on 962-972 Franklin Avenue, which has applied for an upzoning of their site from R6A to R8A MIH. Many of you know this is the Spice Factory. It is right next to the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens. And to put this in context, they came to us about 4 years ago with a proposal for a 40-story tower. That was voted down by the city because of the enormous damage that it would cause to the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens because of the shadows on the plant nurseries that they use for raising the plants that we all enjoy. And they eventually sold part of the site, and they came back with a smaller proposal for a 14-story building with 475 units of housing, of which 30% would be at an average of 60% of AMI. However, the Brooklyn Botanic Gardens has said that their shadow studies are showing that anything taller than the current R6A zoning would still cast damaging shadows on their plant nurseries. And in addition, the environmental impact statement showed that it would cast shadows on Jackie Robinson Playground. And in addition, the number of market rate units, this is a 75% market rate building, would have an enormous impact on our community. So the committee on June 14th, after a public hearing, voted to disapprove this rezoning request and voted to maintain the original R6A zoning. The second resolution that we have is on the citywide zoning text amendments called City of Yes. We've had 2 of these already. This is the third part of it, the City of Yes for housing opportunity. And so on this resolution, our subcommittee met for over a year to discuss this proposal. It's a very comprehensive citywide proposal that is seeking to overhaul the entire zoning code. And we think that it would have an enormous impact on CB9. It would increase zoning density nearly everywhere, allowing a great deal more development. And so we voted to disapprove several aspects of it that apply to Community Board 9, including the universal affordability and the transit-oriented development and missing middle aspects, the changes to the dwelling unit factor. For other proposals, such as accessory dwelling units, we had some modifications and limitations that we proposed. In general, I would say with respect to this that there's nothing in here that's being proposed that community boards and council members can't already give developers the right to do if we think it's appropriate. What this is really doing is putting it in the hands of developers rather than community boards and council members to negotiate where we think things like parking waivers are appropriate, and in return for what, and where we think increases in density are appropriate on what terms. It would essentially just allow everything everywhere whenever the developers see it as most profitable. And the third resolution we have is just really almost a supplement to the City of Yes resolution to talk about our zoning principles. Much of this was already put forward by Community Board 9 in other resolutions that we passed earlier this year. For example, the Green Fast Track resolution. So a lot of this language, for example, about height limits and what that means in our community was contained in the Green Fast Track resolution. A lot of the concerns about demolition, redevelopment, and this commercial stability were also contained in our previous resolutions, City of Yes for economic opportunity, and also in the City of Yes for housing opportunity resolution. So this is an opportunity to kind of pull it all together and to emphasize that what we believe we need is not a one-size-fits-all zoning plan, but one that consults our community block by block to do what's appropriate and you know what people want. And so that's it.
Thank you very much. Okay, so per the land use chair, well, first of all, I want to thank the land use chair and her committee for the enormous amount of work that's been put over. These resolutions represent months of hard work. So tonight we'll be considering the resolution on the City of Yes for housing opportunity. We'll also be considering the 962, 972 Franklin Avenue proposal, as well as a framework as well in terms of what we're looking at in zoning. And I just want to say something very briefly with respect to that. I think it's important because we have reached the point, I think, as a board and as a community where we should actually state what our expectations are and put it down so that way people who want to have serious conversations with the board can understand immediately what we're looking for in terms of our district. We're looking to preserve the neighborhood character. We're looking for things that celebrate. We're looking for things that don't divide or make it impossible for people to stay, among other things as well. So I think that's an excellent start, not the end, and definitely these are conversations that we'll be continuing as a board. But thank you very much for that again. All right, at this time, do we have the chair of Parks? Okay, I do not see the chair of parks. We'll come back to that. All right, at this time, do we have the Transportation Committee chair? Okay. We do not see those chairs at this time, so what we're going to do is we're going to defer them later on when they arrive. We'll come back to that, and we'll do that during the public session. Okay, so at this time, we are now going to go on to item 3, applications for the New York State Liquor Authority. I have been serving as interim chair for the Public Safety Committee. So the Public Safety Committee met this month. There were a number of applications that were presented to the committee. These 5 applications were approved for SLA. There was an additional OCM application that we voted on but will not be appearing this evening because it was a vote for disapproval at this time because there were some issues with the application where they needed to change that. So to make sure that we're able to preserve our posture in terms of being able to consider it, and we wanted to make sure that those vote on record. Part of what we voted on during the business session is that it is going to be a disapproval without prejudice, so the applicant can come back later on at another time once they've made the changes with OCM. And additionally, there was another motion that was passed that will be considered during the business session, where all applications that have not appeared before the board will receive a general motion for dismissal, for disapproval. And the reason why we are doing that as well is because we've had an experience with as a board where if we do not act, if we do not come forward with a recommendation either to approve or disapprove, these applications do move forward and they get approved or disapproved without the board. So we want to change that where it is a matter of we're asking for any applicant to be a good neighbor, first of all, and that starts with appearing before the board, speaking to the community and letting us know what you're doing. So that is the prerequisite for that. And then from that, we are able to ascertain what they're doing in the district and the community. All right, but so going to the applications. At this point, we're going to go to the first one. Applicant is Bombarino LLC, located at 392 Rogers Avenue. Do we have a representative from Bombarino? I'll call again. Do we have a representative from Bombarino? Okay, we will come back. All right, at this time, the second applicant is for New Era Restaurant, located at 366 Utica Avenue. Is there a representative from New Era Restaurant with us this evening? I call for a second time. Is there a representative for New Era Restaurant this evening? Okay, we're going to move on. Item C for the applications is for Masatunde, located at 708 Parkside Avenue, cross streets Nostrand and New York Avenues. Do we have a representative from Masatunde? I call again. Do we have a representative from Masatunde? Okay, seeing none. Next applicant is for 665 Flatbush Bar, LLC, doing business as Ruth. This is located again at 665 Flatbush Avenue. Do we have a representative from Ruth? It's quite possible. No, I mean, absolutely. No, it's quite possible. So what we'll do is we'll probably end up coming back to these as well. We're going to continue on with our agenda at this time. Last applicant is for Cupcakes by Brenda Grill Corporation, doing business as Taqueria El Patron Mexican Grill, located at 49-51 Lincoln Road. Do we have a representative for that applicant? Is that applicant present? Call again for a second time. Is there a representative for Cupcakes by Brenda Grill? Okay. Understanding that there might be some confusion because of our move up in terms of the time, we're going to come back to those applications. We'll call them again before we conclude the public session. All right. So at this time, we are now going to go on to the public comment period. All right. I now see the time is 6:50. Public comment lasts for 30 minutes. All speakers presenting before the board, you have a maximum of 3 minutes. We ask please be respectful of the time. The district manager will let you know when you have about 30 seconds left. When you hear that warning, please at that point start concluding your comments. Okay, at this time, First speaker we have is Haley. I'm sorry, Govenberg? Gordonberg. Okay, sorry. Thank you very much. If you could please stand right here at the end of the table, and you have the mic there, and you have 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I'm Haley Gorenberg, and I've lived in the neighborhood for more than 30 years, and I've raised 2 kids here. I've worked to help their preschool and public schools at every turn, and I've tried to work for lived justice professionally, as well as a neighbor and community member. And people who know me are aware, I discovered early in my life I don't abide bullies very well at all. I lead Friends of Mount Prospect Park, which is a group of many, many neighbors, about 2,000 have signed our petition, working to preserve and improve all the green space in Mount Prospect Park and to protect it as the free, flexible green space that people love. Children, elderly people, people with disabilities, people who play soccer, people who come to relax there and have grown up with and love the park. Despite living most of my life here, I admit I perhaps too recently realized just how deeply critical it is to have a neighbor network, a network of organized community members who are deeply aware and inquiring and studying what's going on around us. And it turns out that our community's reality for a strong future requires people who are committed to being fact-based, have a healthy skepticism about any processes that aren't even-handed and transparent. And we can see from what's been unrolling and targeting our park that unfortunately it's not enough to have some good policies or zoning or reports or even law on the books. It takes people who are watchful and engaged about decisions that affect us for the rest of our lives and our children's lives and our neighbors' lives. We look to the community board and continue to place confidence in it as you approach the parks resolution. We hope tonight, we urge the community board to support it and to pass it for all the deeply researched and detailed reasons contained within it. We stand by it and we place our hope with you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Blender. Okay, if I could ask the next speaker, actually, if I could ask the next 2 speakers to come to the front, it'll make it quicker. So next speaker will be Ms. Cheryl Bernard, and after that, we have LaShawn Ellis. Is Ms. Bernard here? Second call, is Ms. Bernard here? Okay, is Ms. Ellis here? Call again for Ms. Ellis. Okay, come back. Mr. Wolfman. Come on down, the price is right.
Good evening. So my name is John Wolfling. I'm a former CB9 board member. I'm also an architect that does affordable housing in the city. You're going to be voting on 2 things tonight, 2 important things. One is the Spice Factory proposal, the other is City of Yes. But before I talk about the specifics of these 2 proposals, I'd like to relay a story. And some of you have heard this story from me. I relayed it at the June 14th meeting. 2 Sundays ago, I was walking into Prospect Park in the morning, walking my dog. And as I was walking in, I saw a tent, which is not uncommon. You see this in the park frequently. But as I walked by, I saw a child in this tent, and a child of about 8 or 9 years old. And I don't know what circumstances put this family in the park. They certainly were not there as like a camp out. They were there because I think they have limited choices. And it just drove home to me some of the costs that we pay as a city and a society for not having enough affordable housing. So my next item is on 5:30, there was a presentation to this community board by the Department of City Planning. And in that meeting, there was one of our neighbors that said she's lived in the neighborhood, she's living with her mom, she'd like to stay in the neighborhood, but she can't because she can't find housing that is at her income bracket. She's middle income, so I don't know if City of Yes will help her, but I know a project like the Spice Factory will help her. I don't know if the Spice Factory will help this family in Prospect Park, but I do know that City of Yes will provide more affordable housing for them. I do want to applaud the board and the ULURP Land Use Committee for all of the effort that they put into reviewing the City of Yes. It's a complicated proposal. There is lots to question. There's lots of things in there that are really hard to wrap your head around, but the board, the ULURP Committee and the chair have done a commendable job looking through it, understanding it, and coming up with this resolution. But I have to say this resolution is going to allow for the current conditions where we have an extremely constrained supply of affordable housing to persist. So a no vote on the City of Yes is going to allow the current condition to
30 seconds.
persist, and it's going to allow for no change in our current program. So it's just going to allow this family, or force this family to have fewer choices. So it's a distinction without a difference. Whatever reason you have for not liking City of Yes, it's going to cause this current problem to persist. Thank you for listening to me tonight, and good luck on the vote.
Thank you very much, Mr. Wolf. Okay, at this time, Cheryl Faust.
Hello, my name is Cheryl Faust, and I'm a member of the Prospect Heights community, which is represented by Community Board 8. Sorry about that. Can you hear me now? Okay. My name is Cheryl Faust, and I live at Prospect Heights, and I believe it's covered by Community Board 8. And we're here because we're looking for support wherever we can get it with regard to what's happening with Mount Prospect Park and the skateboard park that's slated to become a part of a parkland space that is very green right now and threatens to be covered with about 40,000 square feet of concrete. So let me just read off what I have for you. The Prospect Heights community is aware of the changing environment we all live in, adapting to traffic congestion impacts on the community, and safeguarding parks and green spaces. This community is galvanized to protect the Brooklyn Botanical Garden environment from encroaching housing developments. We have protested budget cuts on the libraries and parks, and we know that they're critical, and we must remain vigilant to protect them. Lately, however, communication has been breaking down with responsiveness from our elected officials, and this is deteriorating. Residents have ongoing concerns about the construction plans for a regional skate park in Mount Prospect Park, which is only about 7 acres large, and that will consume a proposed 40,000 square foot skate park of raw park land, which our elected officials, from the borough president down to council members and district leaders like yourselves, have pledged to protect these green spaces. They ignore the potential of paved locations that are park-owned and that can be utilized for this project. Additionally, there are real concerns about the underlying problem of water overflows that can affect the integrity of the park as a whole, and also the residential side of Eastern Parkway. So a pause should be placed on the project until we have more visibility into the safety and the feasibility of this effort. We take umbrage to the claim that the project is a done deal, and we implore this body to weigh in on the actions that can be taken to close the information
30
gap
seconds.
and to review the current siting for this project. So by supporting this resolution, we hope that we will begin to address this very, very troubling issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Faust. We have Ms. Luana Wilson.
Thank you very much. This is my first time actually coming to a community board meeting, And my main concern was the parking in our areas. I've lived here for over 40 years and I've seen the neighborhood change considerably. First, they've cut the sidewalk at the edge, so that took away a parking spot. Now, all of a sudden, parking spots are being replaced by bicycles, which I believe can be placed on the sidewalk. There's enough room on the sidewalks. I've noticed in different neighborhoods that there are bikes on the sidewalk, but in our neighborhoods, it's only a bunch of bikes from one block to another block to another block. It's not even a 6-block radius. Within the next block, there is always bikes. With all the buildings that are going up, and the majority of buildings that are going up that does not have parking, what are we to do? When do we suddenly know that, oh, here goes a bike lane, or here goes bikes on the street? Where are we gonna park? And we can't park in the bus stop. We can't park by the fire hydrants. We're gonna get tickets. So how do we fight this? That's my concern. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Ms. Wilson. Okay, at this time, we'll do second calls. Is Ms. Cheryl Bernard here? Okay, this is final call, Ms. Cheryl Bernard. Okay. LaShawn Ellis.
I didn't realize I was going to be called. Just chewing some nuts. Excuse me. Good evening, good night. Today, the community board will be voting on the next executive board, and there are a few things that folks should know about one of the candidates. His name is Ethan Norville, and he is a new member of the board who has been appointed the chair of the Transportation Committee. The committee seems to be focused on passing resolutions that involve the removal of said, where's my woman who was just up? Parking spaces. Parking spaces. Just so you know, I am an avid biker. I am also a driver. I have nothing against bikes, but there needs to be a happy medium. So a lot of these resolutions involve the removal of parking spaces and putting up bike lanes without any input from the community. No outreach, no hearings, just lengthy resolutions created in secret that he presents at the committee meetings and then are passed. In fact, in direct violation of the open meetings law, these resolutions have not been available to the public before a committee meeting. No indication on the agenda that such a vote is being sought, nor has the community been solicited for the input on these proposed resolutions. Currently, several streets, which include Kingston Avenue, New York Avenue, Lincoln Road, and Ocean Avenue, are all being identified in our community for the removal of over 100 parking spaces. To have dedicated bike lanes. Not one hearing has been conducted on any of these proposals, and no community outreach has occurred, despite the huge effect these proposals will have on the community. Secure bike lanes have a current history of causing more accidents and injuries due to the advent of motorized bikes that are capable of riding up to 30 miles per hour in these lanes. The DOT has failed to provide the updated data and instead brought 7-year-old data. The safety concern is not being addressed by the Transportation Committee, but is instead being ignored. It has also been reported that he has stated that the community doesn't have the right to speak. He has ridiculed residents' attempt to ensure that their voices are heard, and there have been several official complaints filed against him for harassment, including allegations of him bringing people to the community board meetings in an attempt to harass members of the public. Thus, before you consider selecting him as a representative of CB9, I urge you to consider these accusations, behaviors, and official filings that have transpired regarding Mr. Ethan. With the understanding that if he is doing these things now, we can expect even further violations of the law and harassment of the public in the future. Let us remember that community boards are meant to represent the community, not special interests, right? Resolutions should be created by the committees, not the chair of the committees, to be brought to the committee to then vote upon, okay? That is how that should work. I have a report card of the candidates that are going to be presenting today. I will hand it out to folks that are here, and then I will also put it on the grand piano if folks would like to pick it up themselves if they come late to read it. So please read it. And again, community boards are meant for the entire community. Thanks. Have a good night.
Thank you, Ms. Ellis. Okay, that concludes the public commentary late flag.
Thank you so much. Thank you everybody for being here tonight. When I decided to come here, I evaluated all my options for how I was going to get here. I could have biked, I could have driven, I could have walked, could have taken public transit. I chose biking because it was the fastest, most cost-effective, most efficient way to get here. I risked my life to get here. I filmed a whole block of double-parked cars to get here. I was biking in the lane. As I was passing a car that was double-parked in the bike lane, it swerved out and almost hit me. So I'm here to advocate for protected bike lanes because the number one reason that people do not bike more in this neighborhood is that they don't feel safe doing that. And protected bike lanes are demonstrated to reduce accidents up to 50%, possibly more. And I think, excuse me. Basically I want to invest in public, different modes of transportation so that people feel safe to bike. So thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm sorry, if you could just say your name for the record and also just report that.
My name's Eric Jenkins Saline.
Okay, you could also say that. This is not Q&A. All right, thank you. All right, so that concludes our public commentary for the evening. I want to thank all those who have spoken. This is a critical component in terms of helping us to get the information that we need to make some of the decisions we need to make. As a board, we don't know what we don't know, so this is always critical to get that feedback from the community. And I would invite everyone, if this is your first time coming, please come back again. We always meet we typically meet on the 4th Tuesdays of the month. And also very critical is to hear this kind of feedback at the committee level. So when we reconvene in September, I absolutely welcome you to please check our community board website, which has all the committee schedules for all the committees. And definitely please, you are more than welcome to come and share your feedback in terms of what's going on. And additionally, I would also ask for everyone to, if you see things happening in the district, please make sure you contact our district office, our district manager, our assistant district manager, or our community associate, because those complaints, those issues, that's how we understand what the issues are, and we can try to address as best as we can. Okay, so that concludes public commentary. We are now going to go, right, we are going to go back. We're going to go back a little bit in the agenda. So let's go back to a presentation first. Do we have the transportation chair? Is it here present? Okay, could you please come to the front? There you go. I would ask if you keep your report for 3 minutes or less. Okay.
Hey, I am Ethan Norville, and over the past few months, we've been working on a lot on the committee, and one of the focus areas we've been looking at is parking and trying to preserve it and not have it removed. One of the ways that we've been doing that is trying to make sure that city bikes and car share spots don't go all over the district or get concentrated in one spot so that people in one area suddenly can't find a park. And that's been happening. Right now, car share is very concentrated on the northwestern part of the district, so around like Bedford Avenue, that area. And we're trying to make sure that doesn't happen. So one of our resolutions we've come up with is basically having these car share spots capped to about maybe 3 per quarter-mile radius, so that even if they are all over the district, everyone's within a walking distance, a 5-minute walking distance of a car share spot, and there wouldn't be too many, so they wouldn't just overrun one small corner of the district at one time. We're also working on getting city bikes kind of under control in a sense, so that they don't just end up on the roadbeds everywhere. And we kind of have a priority for those that are on sidewalks first, because again, people use cars here, and we want to make sure that people have that freedom and don't get overrun with, alternatives that they're not using. So a lot of people here might be seniors, might be, people who have cars, and can be pretty far, and you want to make sure that everyone has the opportunity to use whatever mode of transport that they see fit. And that will involve making sure that there aren't too many, things on the roadbed that would be taking away parking, especially when we have a lot of new buildings going up in the area. So that's our current recommendation. It should be in the packet you have, and it's built in a way where we can add to it in the future. So if we have things come up like scooters or other, shared methods of moving around, they wouldn't end up encroaching too much upon the parking that we all basically need. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. All right. All right, okay, so we've heard two of those. The Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Committee had put in a resolution. I don't believe the chair is here at this time, but the resolution that has been proposed is part of the packet. And this one is specifically related to Mount Prospect. So that is in there, and that will be considered this evening when we get into the business session. All right, at this time, we're going to come back to item 3. We're going to call again. Well, let's do this very quickly. Do we have any representatives for any applicants for SLA licenses? I see one and I see two. Okay. Masatunde? And for Cupcakes by Brenda? Okay. All right, so we'll see the representatives for those two. So if I can, for item C, Masatunde, located at 708 Parkside Avenue, cross streets Nostrand in New York. This is an application for a new wine, beer, and cider license and retail permit. Full liquor license? Okay. For the full liquor license, okay. Okay, if you could please come to the front, just very briefly, 2 or 3, just 2 minutes or so, just to tell us about your establishment, menu, anything about, your relationships with the community.
Well, the owner has been in the neighborhood for about 10 years. He's had a restaurant called Palooza on Nostrand. He's recently moved to Parkside. He's seeking a full liquor license to enhance his business model. He's located in a very isolated area of our neighborhood, so full liquor license will aid him in making his business thrive a little better. Any questions?
All right, we will take the 2 questions. So Ms. Etienne and Ms. Wolseley. We'll see those and we'll close. Go ahead, Ms. Etienne. The question, just repeat the question. No, the question was the operating hours.
The operating hours are, he opens up early. He serves the downstate hospital. Then he'll be open till about 2 o'clock in the morning, most days. It's all 7 days a week, 2 days till 2 in the morning.
Okay. Hold on, that was it? That was the question? Okay. All right, thank you very much. Masatunde. Yes. Okay, all right, thank you very much for that. We'll be considering the application when we get to the business session, so it will be voted on at that time. So you are more than welcome to stay if you would like. Otherwise, we will get back to you with the board's decision. Okay, at this time, if we could have a representative for Cupcakes by Brenda.
Hi everybody, my name is Ana Prince. I'm the owner of Taqueria El Patron Mexican Grill on 51 Lincoln Road. I've been in the neighborhood for the last 15 years. This is for a renewal. Thank you. And I've been on that spot for the last 9 years. And we're a Mexican-owned business. I'm also owner of Ish Cafe next to Taqueria. And I'm just here. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Hold on, we'll allow the same opportunity. Are there any questions for this applicant? Going once, twice. Okay, thank you very much. All right, and similar, we're going to be considering the application when we get to the business session. Okay, at this time, we're going to do acknowledgements. All right, at this time, do we have a representative from State Senator Zelma Omari's office?
Hi, good evening, everyone. My name is Portia Edwards. I'm the District Director for State Senator Myri's office. Just wanted to bring summer greetings to you all. Just some quick updates. Currently, our office is closed starting today until July 5th for an office-wide break. And so if you need emergent help, there are other elected officials that you may be able to reach out to, but our offices are going to be closed starting today until July 5th and reopen on July 8th. We do have a couple of events that are coming up on July 26th. We're doing our basketball tournament, so if you would like to join, if you would like to sign up, you can follow the link on our Instagram page or on our website. And as well, we'll be doing our annual block party on August 24th, the last Saturday in August. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to email me. Again, I won't answer until July 8th. However, I will have your email and I will answer it as soon as I'm back in the office. The office number is 718-284-4700, and you can always email me at P, like Portia Edwards, at nysenate.gov. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ms. Edwards. Okay, do we have a representative with us this evening from Councilmember Crystal Hudson's office?
Good evening, everyone. I bring greetings from the council member. I am Andre Robinson, and I'm one of the constituent service and community impact reps in our office. And I'll be just very brief, just two important things. Over on the table, I left two flyers. One is about the Grand Army Plaza and Prospect Heights Public Realm Capital Vision reconstruction. So there's a number of different times in which they're going to be doing public hearings and public commenting. So, definitely want to check that out. And then on Wednesday, via Zoom, we are going to be doing a summer safety update meeting with some of the precincts, with some of the different organizations that deal with, gun violence and drug use and different things like that. So that's going to be on Wednesday, June 26th from 6:30 to 8 p.m. And again, our office number for anyone that needs to reach out to us is 718-260-9191. And if you needed to email me about a constituent concern, my email address is arobinson@council.nyc.gov. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robinson. All right, at this time, do we have a representative from Councilmember Darlene Mealy's office?
Hello, good evening, everyone. My name is Tamisha Thompson. I'm Councilmember Mealy's Deputy Chief of Staff, and I send greetings from the member. So just to piggyback from last week, over at the 71st Precinct, the Councilmember and Deputy Inspector Smith hosted their first Juneteenth, Freedom Celebration event. So we had the street blocked off, we had rock climbing walls, game truck, we had the precinct open, we gave out food, and it was just very nice to participate with the community. The council member was giving out food from beginning to the end, like we just kept making hot dogs and hamburgers. But it was just like something really nice, so that was one of our most recent events. Then she had the movies in the park at Betsy Head. She had movie in the park at Brevoort, and then also silent disco at Betsy Head. So we're being very active right now in the community. If you guys want to bring things to our office, if you want to do something this summer, please feel free to come to our office and let us know. We're located at 400 Rockaway Avenue. We're there Monday through Thursday from 9 to 5,
And starting in the summertime, Fridays will be by appointment only. Our office number is 718-953-3097. And I left flyers from our office of what we do on a weekly basis. We have our food pantry first and third Wednesday of the month. Last Wednesday was Juneteenth, so we're going to have it this Wednesday. So if you know anyone that normally comes, they could come this Wednesday. We're going to have the food pantry this Wednesday. Council members' upcoming advisory board meeting is going to be at PS 309. As you know, she has 5 community boards, 5 precincts, 5 clergies. So she has a pretty big district, so she's doing her best to move within and out her district to just kind of spread out there. So it's going to be at PS 309, and that's going to be located at 794 Monroe Street. And the hours are from 11 to 12:30. It's going to be a general meeting. Our last few meetings, we've been heavily discussing the city of Yes. So I think your chair from land use, and also chair of being like real strong on advising your community of how impactful, negative and or positive, it could be depending on where we live. And we know that this is like a citywide thing. So if it was kind of something for Brooklyn, I think the approach would be different, but it's not. So it's going to affect probably people on our end a little bit heavier than it would someone that lives in Manhattan. So thank you guys for having me. Again, I'm Tamisha Thompson. My email is tthompson, TTHOM for Mary, P for Paul, SON for Nancy, at council.nyc.gov. Our flyers are there. I'll be here to the end of the meeting, so thank you for having me.
Thank you very much for coming this evening. And you said you're going to be here till the end, so we're keeping an eye on this. All right, do we have a representative for IDCC Connect?
Good evening, everybody. I hope everybody's well tonight. We definitely welcome this nice, cool weather after a long, hot weekend, right? God for the little things. My name is Arna Lipkin. I'm here representing Connect IDCC as one of 2 community liaisons. We provide services for mental health either through the IDCC Clinic, which is all ages, or our program Connect, which is anyone over 18. We also do case management, assist with housing issues, benefits, vocational, and food insecurity. In addition, we now have 2 peers who are professionals with lived experience and shared understanding that you can meet with on a weekly basis in your home, in a coffee shop, or in our office to discuss your challenges and successes. To address food insecurity, we have been hosting a farmer's market at our office. We have done this for a few months now. This is what the flyer looks like. So we're going to do this all throughout the summer. Until the weather gets cold. That's like once a month at our office. The next one is taking place July 18th, and after that, August 28th. Excuse me. I would just like to give a shout out to our community board staff and thank the entire board for their tireless work and working to empower our community and help individuals resolve city agency issues. I mean, for me personally, whenever we have an event, I shoot it over to Khalid. And where is he? Okay, and he's always very accommodating. So we really are very blessed to have such a great community board. Now that we're winding down the year, I just wanted to share our major summer event, the goal of which is to share a number of community resources that will address the main focus of our program, excuse me. But people have a lot of challenges, so I'm on the right track. This is our Shower in the City Health and Resource Fair, which the centerpiece is the Brooklyn Community Service, BCS, Shower Mobile, which actually was started by our mayor, Eric Adams, when he was borough president. He started the first shower. I believe there are 2 now. And this is for Brooklyn. This year we are also doing prostate screening, so we're going to have the prostate van from Mount Sinai. And this is our flyer, and I will go around and pass the rest of them out. So have a great summer, everybody, and thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Mrs. All right, and as I spy out in the audience, I do see we have one of our electeds here as well. If we can please hear a few words from District Leader, Serrana Purcell.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
It's been a while since I've been to a meeting, but I've been to a couple of the Community Board 9 excellent event, business breakfast, and resource fair. I just want to greet new members to the board. My name is Sarana Purcell. I am one of 2 district leaders for the 43rd Assembly District, covering Crown Heights, East Flatbush, and Prospect Lefferts Garden. I just want to bring you some brief greetings. Hope you guys have a safe summer. I'm grateful for the partnership of Community Board 9 in some initiative of Bubba and Icy Day. We also held for Men Health Month, prostate testing, and legal services in partnership with Local Development Corporation. So we had a great year in terms of partnership. I'm looking forward to the summer and what September brings, but I also want to encourage everyone that is here just to make sure that they participate and they vote in upcoming elections. So before you go vote, make sure you go check your polling site at NYC Vote, just to ensure that it doesn't move. We want to make sure that our seniors are not traveling too far to find the polls. And every 2 years, they do move the polling sites, so it may change. So before you go to the site, just make sure you check it, NYC Go Vote. The other initiative has been really hot. So if you need a cooling center, please check 311 or NYC/Black Cooling Center. It was a lot of traffic with cooling centers for the past few days because of the heat wave, and we want to make sure that our most vulnerable residents, especially our seniors, have a place to go when it's hot out there. So thank you for your time. Have a wonderful meeting. Thank you for the board, and once again, congratulations to returning members and new members, and I hope to see you in the summer or in September. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. Are there any other elected officials or representatives that we did not call, that did not sign on the list that we haven't called? Okay. All right. So with that, I just want to, I guess, as this is our last meeting, I want to thank all the representatives who are here. I want to thank for you know, our partnership with the elected officials and the different agencies and offices are important. That's what helps us get things done in the district. So I want to take this opportunity just to thank all the representatives and the elected officials who've come in here to bring words, to share information, to let us know what's going on, and also to take information in terms of what they need to bring back to Albany, to City Hall, you know, to City Hall and everything else. So thanks again for that. All right. And PSA, tomorrow, June 25th, there's a reason why we are meeting today, because tomorrow is Election Day. So please make sure, early voting has already concluded. Tomorrow is Election Day. Please make sure that you go on, I believe there's a poll site, gov? Oh, it's right here? There is a site right here, but please make sure you go to the Board of Elections site. If you do not know your poll location, you can get that information, but please, vote is one of the most important things we can do, especially in this year. Okay, but I thank everyone again. All right, one last final call. Are there any SLA applicants who have not presented before the board this evening? Are there any other SLA? So do we have a representative from Bomberino? Do we have a representative from New Era? Do we have a representative from 665 Flatbush Bar? Ruth? Okay. All right, so that concludes our public session. We are now going to go into the business session. At this time, I would ask if our Assistant District Manager can please call the roll.
Hello? Okay, perfect. Members, please mark yourself present when I call your name. Abdul Motakabir. Abdul Motakabir. Nicholas Almanor. Fred Baptiste.
Present.
Janelle Basil Charles. Janelle Basil Charles. Rabbi Yaakov Berman. Thank you. Alethea Best. Augustine Blackwell. Catherine Buccello. Catherine Buccello. Thank you. Suwin Suki Chan. Thank you. Kendall Christensen. Jolie Cobb. Max Cohen. Eve Shavi Cohen. Nicole Soul Query. Max Roland Davidson. Candace Edwards. Brittany Ellington. Lisa Etienne. Rafaela Godoy. Bishop Hamilton Gonzalez. Shonya Hartley. Rod Herbert. Yosef Harshkop. Volney Joseph. Mr. Joseph, please come to the front and sign in. Suki, you as well, please come sign in the board member sheet. Ronisha Labari. Mina Lagute. Yishra Lara. Francisca Leopold. Courtney Loisel. Letwine Mavina. Aaron Mazursky. Jean Renee Mbang Nujima. Ethan Norville. Denzel Odoro. Yankee Pearson. Vanessa Raptopoulos. Yanela Rome Perry. Felice Robertson. Benjamin Rosenberger. Dorian Saab. Melissa Severe. Lillian Swan. Bakari Tendia. Christian Thomas Barrington. Joshua Thomas Serrano. Debbie Timothy. Twyla Warr. Linda Watson Lord. Teresa Westerdahl. Lorianne Wosley. Thank you.
Are there any members who did not hear their name called, or who did not respond?
26 members present, quorum.
Thank you very much. 26 members present, quorum. Okay, there's 26 of us, we can't afford to lose much. Okay, I'm going to ask for the board, let's please make sure we are present, let's make sure we are crisp and brief and concise, so we can get through the agenda and accomplish everything we need to do for this final meeting of the year. Okay, so our next item on the agenda is the approval of the agenda. Item 2 is added because the executive committee did not have a quorum at the last exec meeting. As by the bylaws, its role is to do that, and it wasn't done. At this time, the board is going to adopt the agenda that has been presented for this evening. So at this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the agenda. Moved by Yanela Rome Perry, seconded by Mina LaGrue. All right, is there any objection to adopting the agenda as written? Okay, hearing none. Mia, are you taking minutes for this evening? Okay, thank you. Please record agenda is adopted by common consent. Thank you. All right, next item on the agenda 3 is the approval of the April and May 2024 General Board meeting minutes. That is part of your packets. That has been sent out as part of the packets. Are there any questions with regards to the April 2024 agenda at this time? Any corrections? I call for a second time. Are there any corrections to be made to the April 2024 agenda at this time? Minutes at this time? General Board meeting for April 2024. April, we're doing the April, we're going to do them separately. Okay, hearing no corrections, is there any objection to adopting by common consent? Call for a second time. Any objection to adoption by common consent? Hearing none. Mia, if you could please report that as agenda for April is adopted by common consent. All right, we're going to go to the May 2024 agenda at this time. All right, that's been sent out to the board as part of the packet. Are there any corrections to be made to the May 2024 agenda? I'm sorry, minutes. I keep saying agenda. I call for a second time. Are there any corrections to be made to the May 2024 minutes? Hearing no corrections, Is there any objection to adopting the minutes by common consent? Call for a second. Is there any objection to adoption of the May 2024 minutes by common consent? Hearing no objection, may I please record that the board has adopted the May 2024 minutes. Okay, we are now going to go to item 4. Item 4 is special orders. And again, I just wanted to explain. So this evening, per our bylaws, we are scheduled to have our officer elections for Brooklyn Community Board 9. So all those members present are able to vote. We are going to call up the chair of the nominations committee. She will begin the process and will talk us through what actions the nominations committee has gone through, and at which point we will have speeches by the respective candidates, and then ballots will be given out and the board members will begin the process of voting. Okay, so that's going to be the process for this evening. At this time, can I have the nominations chair, Ms. Timothy, come forward, please?
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Thank you. Good evening. My name is Debbie Timothy, and I am the chair of the CB9 Nominations Committee. And I am going to call up the committee members. I know that 2 of them are here. Is Ms. Almana? Thank you. Isha?
Good evening. My name is Courtney Lizelle, and I was on the nominations committee.
Good evening. My name is Bishop Gonzalez. Yes.
So we are 3 of the nominations committee. There were 5 people selected. So we are happy to, do the process tonight for for officers for the CB9 committee, community board. So we started the process back in April when we were selected to as a part of the nominations committee. We met, I believe it was May 8th, to talk about, the process with the chair of the community board, Mr. Baptiste. We did discuss all of the aspects of the nominations process. We decided as a committee, how we were going to provide the members with the information about the process. We had the CB9 staff send out an email to all board members about the process and how it was going to roll out. After that, we met again, I believe it was on May 22nd or the 23rd, to follow up with those who did not respond to our emails. And so we reached out to them by phone, and some of them we got, some of them we did not. So at the May General Board meeting, we had nominations on the floor. So the people that we did not reach out to were able to, give their input. And what did we do after that? We're here tonight to conclude the whole process. So we hope that you would, understand that, what we have done and what we are going to do tonight. Does anyone have any questions? Okay, thank you. We're going to do that as soon as we tell you what the next steps are here. So before we start the process, we will allow the candidates to come up and give, I would say, maybe 2 minutes presentation about themselves and why they would like to, act in that role, in the role that they have been selected or appointed to. So we will start with the chair of CB9, Mr. Baptiste. Thank you.
I just want to first say thank you so much to the nominations committee. I want to say thank you to the officers who have served in this past year as well. And I just want to say that in terms of, for those who don't know me, I've been a member of Community Board 9 since 2012. I've served in a number of different capacities, a number of different committees. I've served as chair for about the last 4 or 5 years at this time. And I do not take it for granted, the trust that you put in me and what you look for me to do in this position. And I just want to hopefully continue some of the great work we've done, especially for the new board members. I want to share that what we enjoy now is a process that took time to build. It's a culture that we're trying to build in terms of we can come together and have conversations. It's a matter of us being able to say that, listen, we're going to hold people accountable, that we're going to create positions, that we're going to create documents and resolutions that live, and that we communicate to our elected officials. And I want to continue that work. So looking forward, I want to say that we have a lot of issues that are coming down the pipe. And I'm making that commitment at this time that I'm going to do everything I can to make sure we are represented in all those spaces we need to be represented. I want to make sure we're having the conversations that need to be had. Some of them will be hard, but I am committed to that process in terms of we're going to get the family together and we're going to figure out what's best for our district and see if we can develop those ways to get our district and move it forward. Again, I thank everyone, and I want to just say thank you to all those candidates who are running, who have stepped up to seek office for this board. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We will now have our first vice chair, Mr. Norville. Say a few words. Thank you.
Thank you. So I grew up on the corner of Kingston Avenue and Lefferts Avenue. I've been from this, I was born and brought here. And this is one of the neighborhoods that I absolutely love, and this is one of those neighborhoods that I absolutely love and cannot see myself leaving. And that said, I've seen a lot of our issues play out before my eyes. I was here since, before the back on Empire Boulevard, and I've seen a lot of the requests from this district just go unanswered. We've had cars fly into businesses head first on Fenimore Street, and they've been asking for a speed bump forever and never got that. We've seen people doing 40 plus miles per hour on Lefferts Avenue, and people are just constantly asking for help and not getting it. And I've noticed that there's at least one thing that other districts really do that gets attention and gets results for them, and it's that they make plans. They don't just request plans from other agencies and then say no when they finally do get them. And on my committee, I've tried to help them run it in a way where we work planning into our day-to-day movement in our meetings so that none of our concerns come without a plan of action, so that we have something from an agency, and we also have a plan that we work together on so that it's not just us kind of pushing them away and saying no to everything and eventually being ignored like a lot of it has played out in the past. So I'm really trying to make sure that we move like an expert agency here so that we're kind of seen on an equal footing with people, agencies like DOT and others, and not just like, the lay people that you have to kind of gloss over and maybe explain a few things to. And I think bringing that to the board will help a lot when it comes to having us taken seriously, when it comes to having our requests actually honored. And it doesn't mean that when we plan something, whatever the agency sends back to us, we'll just take it. It means that we'll bring the community in at that point when we have a concrete plan, and we can have the community have some input, make changes to it, and actually have that follow through on the agency side. And I hope that we can make the board more effective going forward too. Thanks.
Thank you, Mr. Norville. We will now have our second vice chair nominee, Ms. Felice Roberts. Say a few words. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Felice Robertson. I would like to read what I submitted to the board, make it simple, and then I'll explain myself. So I put in an application, members of the community board. I'm excited to announce my candidacy for second vice chair and second vice chair of Community Board 9. With over 30 years of experience as an administrative/manager, the skills I've acquired through my service to the city and my proven commitment to the Community Board 9, I believe I am a strong candidate for this position. I received my bachelor's degree in liberal arts from the College of New Rochelle, my master's degree in public administration from Long Island University. I have served as a delegate of District Council 37, representing both New York City Department of Community Administrative Services, DCAS, New York City, Oath of Administration, Trials and Hearings, Oath. Additionally, I have been the chair of Local 1549, delegate for District Council, and now serve as the American Federation of State, County, Municipal, AFME, CWA Local 1180, Communication Workers of America, AFL-CIO, and in Coalition of Black Trade Union, that's CBTU. As you can see, well, you don't see, you don't have a resume, but as I describe myself to be, I have and will continue to work hard for the community in seeking to protect tenants' rights. I am also serving the community as a community activist, and our organization is called Washington Avenue Botanic Garden Block Association, WABA, along with working as recording secretary for Crown Heights Community Council, CHCC. Yes, I do a lot, I know. I enjoy sitting on the Transportation Committee with the chair, Ethan. And now, as a member of Community Board 9, along with being selected and elected as vice chair on the Transportation Committee with Ethan, I am involved and enjoy sitting and attending the ULIT and the Land Use Committee, Public Service Committee, and Youth Service Committee of CB9. These committees keep me aware and current events of Crown Heights. As for my involvement with the 71st Precinct, I am kept well-grounded and informed with the needs of community and work closely with the police department of our neighborhood. This way we can connect, this way we can have connections and bring closeness to both the community and the officers that serves us. Thank you for the opportunity as I look forward to the privilege in serving as your second vice chair. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Robertson. I forgot to say that in terms of the member-at-large position, there is a contest to that. We have 3 members and there are 2 nominations. Or there are 2 spots and we have 3 nominations. So that's the only contested position that we have. We will now call our treasurer, Ms. Mina Labute.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mina Labute. I am currently the treasurer of CB9. I am, a little background on me, I'm a first-generation American of Haitian descent. My parents immigrated to the United States in the late 60s. I was born in the Bronx, but raised in Queens, and I've been in Brooklyn in this area, well, Prospect, Lefferts Gardens, Carroll Gardens for the past 21 years. I don't know, it's gone by really quickly. And one of the things that's gone by quickly also is I work a lot, and I live right by the train station. So sometimes it's like I go in the train station, come back, and if I'm not running in the neighborhood, because I'm a runner, I don't realize the changes that are happening in the neighborhood. And if it wasn't for running, I don't think that I would realize the different buildings that are coming, going, the parking situation. Well, I drive also. So I feel like I needed to be a part of the changes that were coming. So one of the changes that I wanted to be a part of was things that are going on in the neighborhood, so that's why I became a part of the board. So I was sitting in those seats years ago, thinking to myself, well, maybe one day I'll join the board. Maybe one day I'll join the board. So I joined the board in about around 2020, early 2020, right before the world changed. I've been here. I served on the Parks and Recreation and Culture Committee. That was great. I haven't been able to serve on a committee this year due to life is lifing. Life is lifing, as you all know. Life is lifing. I've coined a term called daughtering because I have my kids who are 80, 85 and 81, and life is lifing. So I serve as a treasurer. I'm hoping that next year I'll be on a committee that'll help me get more in the weeds and things again. But I hope that you all vote for me, and hope that life isn't lifing as much next year. Thank you.
Thank you. Our executive secretary candidate, Ms. Linda Woodson-Lord, is not here tonight. But everyone should have received the candidates' biographies. Okay, thank you. As well as Mr. Nicholas Almoner, one of our member at large, is not here tonight. Therefore, we will move on to Ms. Westerdahl, one of the member of large candidates. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. I'll spare you reading my entire bio. It was 3 pages long. Sorry for that. I'm Teresa Westerdahl. I'm running for member at large. I ask that you look at my record of service on the community board and see that I am committed, attentive, and have excellent attendance for meetings over the past 3 years that I have served. First as a committee member on environmental protection, community resident member, and then as a board member for 2 more years. I attend a lot of meetings. I go to meetings of my own for my Environmental Protection Committee, as well as others with particular interest in the URLIP Land Use, City VS Subcommittee, Transportation, and Safety Committees. I love to attend those meetings and find out everything before I come to vote, so I know what I'm voting on. And I really like the people on those committees. I think they do a great job. My intention is to listen to the community, their needs, and keep people informed. To work for those who are not present, I take my position on the community board seriously and work to keep the community informed, continue to educate myself on the rules and laws of the community boards. I went to a lot of the town halls, sessions, city meetings. I took a lot of classes. I will continue to advocate for my community and to protect the integrity and interest of this community board and all of its members, and I'm not afraid to hold the people accountable and read the fine print. So I implore you to vote for me, and thank you for listening to me, and I hope I kept it short enough.
Thank you, Ms. Westerdahl. We will now call the next candidate for member at large, Mr. Benjamin Rosenberger. Thank you.
Hello, good evening. My name is Ben Rosenberger. I'm running for member at large. I've been a resident of Crown Heights for 46 years, raised a family, 5 children, brought them to school, a married daughter. She's living in Crown Heights as well. I started my community service over a decade ago. I worked for NAB, Non-Neighborhood Advisory Board 9, working with the community, directing federal grant funds to those who need it most. And from there, this is my first term on the board, second year. I believe I've provided valuable input to the Transportation Committee, which I'm on, and I hope to be able to continue that on the Executive Committee if you would vote for me. Keep it short, but thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Mr. Rosenberger. Next step, we will ask Mia, would you be able to call the roll for us? and provide us with the ballots so that we can pass the ballots on. So can one of you go to the right on this side? Thank you. Okay, so do we want everybody here to see?
If we could ask for all board members to raise your hands, the members of the committee will give you your ballot. Now, the important thing is, remember, your ballot must be signed. So you have to put your name on your ballot. We do signed ballots, signed paper ballots here at the board. If your name is not on the ballot will not count. Okay, so that's critical. So make sure you please get your ballots, fill them out, return them to one of the members of the nomination committee. They will receive your ballot, they will tabulate the ballots, and they will give the results later on during the meeting.
Does anyone need a pen?
The ballots are going to be distributed. So if you're a board member, raise your hand, and the ballot will be distributed to you. Board members only. Board members only.
Does anyone need a pen? Raise your hand, please.
Okay, all board members, make sure you raise your hand, make sure you get your ballot. And make sure your ballot is signed.
Did everyone get a ballot?
Is there
All
any
of the board members, did everyone get a ballot? I take that as a yes, thank you. I will allow you some time to fill them out, as I'm going to do mine as well. Thank you.
And again, make sure before you return your ballot that you have printed your name on it, print your name, and sign your ballot. Otherwise, it is not valid, it will get tossed. Okay? All right, is there any board member, last call, any board member who did not get a ballot? Okay, hearing none. Ms. Timothy, do you want?
Please fold your ballots and we will collect them. Thank you.
Okay. All right, the nominations committee is going to collect all the ballots at this time. So please make sure you return your ballots to either Ms. Loisel, Ms. Timothy, or Bishop Gonzalez. They will take one of your ballots. Okay. All right. So as the ballots are being collected, we are now going to move on. So that process, they will collect all the ballots, they will tally the ballots. We're going to move on. At this time, the committee, we're going to section number 5, the committee reports. The committee reports have already been distributed to the board members. Those with action items have already been presented. Those will be voted on during the voting session. So are there any committee chairs at this time who have urgent, only if you have an urgent announcement at this time? Any committee chairs with an urgent announcement? Okay. All right. So we are now going to move on to item 6. Dante, do you have your district manager's report?
Good evening, everyone. I'll say it again, good evening.
Good evening.
All right. It's the last meeting, so let's get some energy in here. All right, well, the first thing I had on my list here is to congratulate the new officers. Whoever wins your election, congratulations. Thank you for participating. I look forward to working with you as the next executive committee, whoever wins. So good luck to you all. On the 6th of this month, early in the morning at 10:41 a.m., there was a structural fire at 700 East New York Avenue, a 4-story occupied dwelling. That fire was located on the first floor. There were no reported civilian injuries, and that fire was placed under control at 10:51. So I just wanted to make that note. Central Brooklyn is actually at the very top of the list for fires. If you did not know that, second behind the Bronx. The Bronx is second, so this is an issue that's happening everywhere. We want to keep you guys informed. Our e-blast has information on fire safety and prevention as well, so just if you know anybody who might need information pertaining to fire prevention and safety, let us know. The Department of Housing Preservation and Development will be hosting housing information courses throughout the summer. All of these courses are 100% free and taught over Zoom. The issues that will be taught in these courses stem from pest control to responding to violations to navigating housing court. The first class that will be taught will be on June 26th, and the topic of discussion will be owning a home in New York City. They will have various courses throughout the summer. We'll make sure to put them in the e-blast, so if you are looking for housing, you know anybody looking for housing, so on and so forth, doesn't matter if it's renter or homeowner, look out for our e-blast. We'll make sure those courses are in there. The New York City Charter provides the structure of city government and key powers of city elected official and agencies. The CRC, the Charter Revision Commission, will be holding a public hearing, will be holding a public hearing the 27th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. at Medgar Evers College, 1650 Bedford Avenue. They will also have a virtual format. And if you would like to submit written comment, you can submit written comment up into July 12th. You can submit that written comment at charterinfo, all one word, at citycharter.nyc.gov. The New York City Department of Transportation, you might have heard this earlier, is collecting community feedback to help inform the future capital vision at Grand Army Plaza and Prospect Heights open streets and bike boulevards. The survey will be open until July 31st of this year. If you have any concerns about the public realm, you can email DOT directly at publicrealm@dot.nyc.gov. Following up on that, they will also be holding an upcoming public workshop over that topic. It'll be a virtual meeting. The virtual meeting will be taking place tomorrow at 12 p.m. noon. And then they will also have an in-person session, which will take place July 10th from 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. and that'll be at Medgar Evers College. That will also be in our e-blast as well. Let's see. In the morning, the New York City Council Committee on Housing and Buildings will be holding a public hearing on the topic oversight sidewalk sheds. Basically, any legislation in the City Council that pertains to sidewalk sheds, that committee will be reviewing that in the morning. That hearing will take place in the committee room at City Hall. I believe this was also in our e-blast as well. You can go onto the City Council website. They have live stream for their hearings as well. There will be a full roadway closure on Clarkson Avenue. At 329 Clarkson Avenue, they are booming and bumping for a new building project. I'm not a construction person, so I don't know what that means, but it will require a full roadway closure. That closure will last from this week until early September. So as we continue to get roadway closure notices from the contractors or DOT, we'll be sure to put it in our e-blast. Upcoming changes are coming to our the car share program specific to our district. The car share program will be removing 4 locations from our district. At this time, those locations are not set to be reallocated. The locations are as follows: 19 Winthrop Street, 1206 Nostrand Avenue, 305 Sterling Street, and 1045 Union Street. So there are car share locations at those locations that are set to be removed. I asked DOT likely in the next coming month, but no confirmation. I'm waiting for the commissioner to get back to me. Yeah. Be thrilled about that. Yeah. Y'all sent me all those emails. The next Board and Standards and Appeals public hearing will be held July 15th at 10 a.m. It's going to be via Microsoft Teams. If you wish to attend, you can, and you will need to register in advance to speak. The BSA will be making a decision on the 1512 Union Street variance that this board approved in April. The New York City Parks Department is seeking to add to its solicitation mailing list names and individual businesses that are interested in operating concession stands in city parks. Currently, over 400 different concessions operate throughout the 5 boroughs, including but not limited to cafes, restaurants, mobile food units, farmers markets, sports facilities, amusement parks, arts and craft markets, t-shirts, souvenir stands, marinas, carousels, driving ranges, golf courses, tennis facilities, ice rinks, newsstands, parking lots, stables, and Christmas tree stands. If you are interested in learning more about opportunities within the parks concessions, you can email the Parks Revenue Division at revenue@parks.nyc.gov. Again, revenue@parks.nyc.gov. Great opportunity for some young entrepreneurs, any type of entrepreneurs. Money's money at the Parks Department. Just some housekeeping items. We are going to work diligently to get the full yearly calendar for this board up on our website in the summer. So I am going to be reaching out to board members to try to figure out dates, this, that, and the other. I won't be able to accommodate everybody. It's going to be realistic. But I think that we do a good job at this board accommodating holidays and religious observances. So we will continue that standard. But I want you to know that we will try our absolute best to get it up, likely in August. I'm going to try to get it up as soon as possible so everybody can plan accordingly to come to our meetings. For board members, I just want to remind you to continue to follow your email throughout the summer. We will be sending you emails constantly to keep you informed. There are going to be some business for board members during the summer, like selecting your committee placement. We will send out a Google form with that information so you know exactly what that process is when the time comes. Also during the summer, board members and community, we will be disseminating our district needs statement survey. The district every year, the 59 community boards prepare district needs statements that essentially identify the funding priorities for this district. We're going to put it out in the summer so we can get solicitation from the community. And then in September, October, this board will then vote on it. The last thing for my report, again, is to welcome the new board members that were recently appointed by the borough president. Welcome. Yes. I want to thank all of the returning board members and I guess kind of new board members now for being patient with myself, being patient with the staff. We work very diligently to support you all in this very tough bureaucracy, but we get it done. So I just want to thank you all for being patient with me. And then lastly, I want to take this opportunity to thank my staff. Khalid and Mia are absolutely fantastic. Give them a round of applause. Give it to them, yeah. I bet they expect me to buy them dinner now. It's probably not gonna happen now. But they're good, it's a good team, like a really good team. They work very hard behind the scenes, even like hard. So just whenever you see them, say thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any questions for the district manager regarding his report? None. Good. Keep moving. All right. Okay, at this time, Madam Treasurer, you have a report from the board?
Good evening again. The treasurer's report. As you all may know, our fiscal year is ending at the end of this month, June 30th. So anything that we've used, well, on the budget, we have encumbered, and that is what we've set aside for the fiscal year, which ran from July 1st, 2023 until the end of this month. Actual expenditures is actually what we spent, and uncommitted is what hasn't been spent yet. But just because it hasn't been spent doesn't mean that within the next 6 days it will not be spent. It just means that it could be something like a salary that hasn't been paid out or a bill that hasn't been paid. But if you were to go through the different areas of the budget, the summary budget, at the end we have $26,015.71 that is uncommitted. That will most likely by the end of the month go down once salaries are paid and other bills are paid. Any questions? Yes? June 30th is the last day for the budget. He will spend. Dante will spend and we'll discuss whatever's been spent. It's really not that much money because we will, it's 6 days, but even though it's uncommitted, it has, most of it has been spent. Okay? Yeah, if we don't spend it, they don't think we need it, so we should spend it. So we are done with that. If there are no other questions, I will hand the mic over to the chairman.
Madam Treasurer, thank you so much, and thank you for your service this year. Okay, we are now going to go to the chairman's report. There are a number of things. I'm going to try and be very brief, but as this is the last meeting, I just need to make sure that we address a few things before we adjourn for this evening. So first of all, I definitely need to acknowledge the community fair, which we had earlier this month. Thank you to all those who made it a rousing success. It's an event that this is our second or third year doing this, and it's getting better every year. And this is what we do. I want to thank our district office team, for putting this together and organizing it. I want to thank all the vendors who came. It's getting bigger every year. It's phenomenal to see all the partners we have in the community, and I just want to thank everyone for that. Elections. We have just done that, so I want to thank all those people who have chosen to run, and I just ask everyone to think about what your roles or what parts you want to play as we go forward as well. So even if you're not running for an officer position, if you think about how you'd like to serve in the district, if it be serving as a chair, or if it be in terms of taking points on different projects, I just ask everyone to do that. But again, I want to thank those who stepped up this year to run for elections. We're going to come to it very shortly. The resolutions are going to be very important, and I wanted to underscore how critical it is that we take these steps. I really want to, again, thank the chairs for the work they put into doing this, because these really craft and set the arguments in terms of what the expectations are and what our positions are for the different aspects that we're looking at this evening. I wanted to very briefly talk about transportation in terms of the criticality of the conversations we're having, because we see that there are so many things that move without us if we are not having the conversations, if we are not being strategic. So I want us to think about that, and I want us to think about not just one issue, but think about this holistically, because there's only one set of streets. So we've got to think about how people who walk, how people who ride bikes, how people who take trains, how people who drive cars can coexist in this district and do what they need to do and be safe. So I want us to all consider that as we continue forward. I want to thank the chair again for transportation in terms of starting these conversations, and that being the start of a conversation doesn't mean that's the end of a conversation. And I ask everyone to please again consider making sure that they're tuning in and giving feedback wherever possible. One of the things that, again, I apologize for is that I know that a lot of our newer members, you are doing baptism by fire at this point, because you're only a month in and you're already, electing officers, people who you barely know, so you're trusting that we're here, that we've been here, and that we're going to do right by the board. I thank you for that. But one of the things we do want to do is make sure that we're doing training, so that way we fully understand and we level set, and everyone has an understanding of what the land use process is, what our role is in that. Also making sure that we have, we understand with SLA, with OCM, which is a relatively new development in the state and in the district. so that we're asking the questions and having the conversations that are necessary, so that way we can make sure that safety and welfare of the community is paramount. So board training is one of those things we're going to be working with, along with swearing in, because I know a number of members were supposed to be sworn in today. So those are things that we're going to work on to make sure that those are done and in place, so that way when you come back and we reconvene in September, everyone is raring to go and we can just jump in there and hit the ground running. The district manager said it, and I wanted to reiterate. A lot of information comes through the office. It's important. If you haven't done so, if you're a board member, particularly if you're a resident member, please make sure you sign up for the e-blast, because that's how we get a lot of this information out to you. And I ask all board members, particularly our new members, but also all those who are here, resident members, neighbors, please make sure you are there, and please make sure you pass that information along. I'm asking everyone to serve as an ambassador of the board in that respect, and please make sure you're sharing it. You are in spaces that, the district office only has 3 people, so they can't be everywhere. So we count on board members to share the information when they get it. We ask for residents to share with neighbors, particularly share with neighbors who don't necessarily have access to email. So if you have a flyer about an event, if you hear about ways to freeze rent, please, if you have the ability to make copies of those things and share them with our neighbors who can't necessarily get out and get access to this. And again, I think in terms of communications, as the district manager said, please make sure your correct information is on file with the district office, because that's how we get the information out to you. And I ask, please make sure that you read the emails when you get them. It's when we're informed, it's when we do the homework in advance, that enables us to be more effective and efficient when we get here. 2 last notes. One is about the district office. We've definitely had conversations about that. I know the DM has been working on that. As a board, we're growing, we're more active, we're doing more things, and clearly the district office is not adequate for what we need to do. So that is something that the district manager has been working on in terms of having conversations with DCAS, which is the Department of Citywide Administrative Services, in terms of getting us a space that is suitable for us to do what we need to do as a community board. So that way we can have a community there and do the things we need to do. So that is a conversation that I am engaging with the district manager, and he's definitely been in contact with DCAS for that. So as we're moving along, hopefully we'll be able to make movement on that and get a brand new space that's suitable for CB9. The last thing I want to do is just a couple of thank yous, just as a point of personal privilege. One, I want to thank all the chairs for all the committees. You stepped up in a big way to take, to take control of these committees or to run these committees. I thank you for your time, because I asked you doubly to come in for the executive committee meetings to inform the officers, to let us know what's going on. You've done phenomenal work, and I just have to say thank you for stepping up, and thank you for the work you've done throughout the year. I want to thank all the committee members for everything you've done. To the district office team, there's no way we can tell you enough thank you for all the work you do. We know you definitely don't do it for the money, but we appreciate and respect your professionalism and dedication and the way you carry yourselves and the way you represent this board. So thank you very much. Also, as a point of personal privilege, I want to say thank you to those departing officers. So our first vice chair, Primo Lasana, he had already left the board earlier, and as is for good and welfare, he's now the proud father of a son. So he is doing well, he's phenomenal, but we remember him here, we thank him for his service. I also want to thank our member at large, Dexter Roberts, who also left this year, who did not, reapply for the board. I want to thank him for his service to the board, his time on the board as well. And I would be remiss if I did not recognize our second vice chair, who has opted not to succeed herself this year. She is a friend. She is passionate about this board. And I don't think we realize she is the longest serving member of the executive team. So when I got here, she was here 4 years, and she's been here, and she's been one of those people to keep people accountable. She's come with an energy and a passion for the board. She's not leaving anywhere, but I do want to thank her for her service as an officer to this board, and she's filled in whatever roles we've ever needed her to do. So thank you so much. Okay, that is all I have. There are no action items. The action items are going to come when we get to the voting session, so we'll be able to do those. At this time, I can take a couple of quick questions if anybody has any questions regarding my chairman's report. Going once, twice, 3 times? Okay. Hold on. Actually, we're going to allow our second vice chair to give a couple.
Good evening, everyone. I just want to say thank you to the chair for the work that you have put in, where you have taken this board to. Persons who've been here, they know the chaos, they know the, oh my gosh, no one wanted to hear anything about Community Board 9. And when I went out, the persons who said, your Community Board 9, oh, this chair, he's excellent, he's this and he's that. And I just want you, the new ones, the new members, old members, and the committee members to give this chair a hearty hand of applause for his leadership. One thing I'm asking the new members who are coming in, learn for yourself. Persons come up and some persons are very positive and some persons are very negative. And I know that there are persons who join the board and because of all the negativity, they left. Because they said, I didn't sign in for this. But you're coming because you want to better your community. You came in not because of your own, but because you want to see something happening better for your community. So you need to learn for yourself, learn the board for yourself. If someone comes and then there is some negativity on or something you see that you're not happy with, approach the chair, approach the first vice chair, approach the district manager, call the office and ask a question. Because not every day, my grandfather used to say, not everything that glitter that is gold. So you know, it's not everything that you hear that is truth. And please, board members, if there's a problem, fight it at 890 North Strand Avenue, not here. I will not be sitting here next year, I'll be sitting over there, so I'll be able to challenge you. So any issues that you have as a board member, we are a family. Okay, so if you have an issue, take it at 890, fight over there, don't bring it here, because I will be here to challenge you. Thank you, and then have a good summer.
Thank you very much again, Frank. Okay, all right, we are now at item 9. So everyone, remember, we're going to go through this as quickly as possible. If you have questions, the only thing I'll say is this: if you have questions, please ask your questions. All right? If you don't believe in a motion, it's okay to vote no. But I want you to vote yes if there's merit to it. But I want us to make sure that as a board, we are clear in terms of the direction we're going. Okay? All right, so we are now going to go to item A, which is a resolution on the 962-72 Franklin Avenue rezoning application. All right, there's a resolution that has been drafted. It's been distributed to all the board members. Have board members had an opportunity to review it? Are there any questions? Okay, at this time, I will entertain a motion to adopt the resolution as stated. Do I have a motion? Okay, I have it moved by the chair, Suki Chang. I have it seconded by Teresa Westerdahl. At this time, we will take questions. Is there any unreadiness? We will take questions. We'll take a speaker's list. Does anyone have questions on the 962 Franklin Avenue application, or resolution? If people have questions, if people have unreadiness, that's the right as members, they have that. Is there anybody who has a question? Okay, hearing none, the floor is now closed. We are going to call the question. All right, is there any unreadiness? Is there anyone who wishes to object to adoption by common consent? Call for a second time. Is there any objection to adoption of this resolution by common consent? You wish to abstain? Okay, so we will have a couple of abstentions for them. Okay, so let's do it this way. All right, at this time, all those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All those who wish to vote no on the resolution, please state your name for the record. I'm sorry? Board members only. Anyone who wishes to vote no on this motion, please state your name for the record. May I please note no in opposition. Any members who wish to abstain from the motion, please state your name for the record. Rabbi Yaakov Behrman abstains. Member Eve Harvey Cohen abstains. Any other members who wish to abstain on this motion at this time? Okay. Hearing no no's, 2 abstentions, the motion carries. The resolution is adopted by Community Board 9. This will be forwarded to all the relevant agencies and elected officials as well to state our position. Thank you very much. All right, we are now going to go on to item B, City of Yes for housing opportunity. The resolution has been distributed to the board. Have board members had an opportunity to review? Okay, at this time, yes. Well, hold on. Let's put it on the floor and then you'll have an opportunity to ask your question. Good time. It's one paper, but it's two-sided. You should have one as a C. Right, there is. Right, the one that is currently, that was handed out this evening, because there were edits made, correct. Okay, all right, is there a motion to adopt this resolution for CB9, City of Yes on housing and opportunity? I have it moved by member Yunella Rome Perry. Do I have a second? I see a second by Vanessa Raptopoulos. All right, at this time we will open the floor for questions. Is there any unreadiness? Anyone have any questions, comments with regards to the motion? All right, Rabbi Berman, I'll see you. Hold on one second. Anyone else who wishes to comment on this? I'm sorry, Robinson? I'm sorry? Max Davidson? Okay, member Davidson. Anyone else who wishes to speak on the motion? Okay, I have the chair, the land use chair. Anyone else who wishes to speak on the motion? All right, we will close on this first round. There will be a second opportunity after this. I would ask, please, for those who have to speak, keep it to 1 minute or less, please. Okay? Rabbi Berman, go ahead.
So I want to speak in opposition to this motion. City of Yes has both positive and negative. When you look at a resolution, and especially one being sent to the city, you have to see how is the city going to look at this resolution. Are they going to take it into account? Is it going to have impact? And there's parts of this resolution which are not factual and are conjecture at best. And I would say even more, not even conjecture, absolute exaggerations. I'll give you two quick examples. First of all, it says in this resolution that CB9 zoning already permits 25,000 new units. That number is total guesswork. I mean, there's a lot of applications that have come before this board. We've voted it up, we voted it down, it goes in front of the city council. How anybody could come up with a number, how many units are now in the district, I mean, the amount of funding and research it would take to do a proper study is, there was no study done. It was none presented to me, at least. I believe that's total guesswork. But more importantly, within the resolution, we also say that if this passes, it will result in demolition of thousands more homes and the direct displacement of tens of thousands of residents. And as a resident of Crown Heights for 40 years, I can tell you how hard it is to buy a home. To say that we're going to displace tens of thousands of people and there are going to be thousands of homes demolished is absolute just exaggeration. And I'll tell you more, I object to using the word displacement when you're talking about
Okay. One quick point. Rabbi Berman, I think you're reading from the one that was sent before. There's an updated version of this that I think addresses some of the language you're talking about. Right. No, what I'm saying, yeah, no, but this is the version that we're looking at, which addresses some of the language that you're talking about. So this is what we're looking at here. Yes. There's a paper copy, so this addresses some of the language issues. Just as a quick note, I've added myself to the speakers list, so at this time, the second vice chair is going to chair at this point, until the vote.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And I recognize Mr. Davidson.
Like this? Oh, there we go. Hi, everyone. My name is Max. I'm a new member. I brought the cookies, which you'll see at the front, if you would like them. Public speaking is like my top 3 greatest fears, and I left my notes at home, so please bear with me. I really appreciate the work the board has done on this resolution. I would like to make 2 recommendations to improve it. Firstly, we never define what we consider affordable, and I think that that's a really important thing to think about. We define what is not affordable, but I think it's important for us to put forward an affirmative belief about what constitutes affordability. The borough president came to speak at the ULERT meeting, and he said, if you don't come with a resolution that defines what you do want, I can't advocate for you. So I have ideas about what we could switch. I don't know when I make those recommendations. The other thing I would like to advocate for is a change to the rules around accessory dwelling units. If you're unfamiliar, an accessory dwelling unit is a small home in addition to a single family home. It's, under the city's proposal, 800 square feet. This is really important for 2 types of people. This is on single family homes. One, if you're a member of the community who invested here in the 70s, 80s, 90s, and now you're a senior, you're a pensioner, you are on a fixed income, this provides you an additional source of revenue for you to stay in your home. You're under a ton of pressure every day to sell your home because of how valuable it's become. If we would allow for the building of ADUs, that will provide long-term stability for families which invested here, and when candidly, families like mine were leaving Flatbush. Number 2, and lastly, as a tenant, I would prefer to rent from a community member than some giant faceless corporation. 2, accessory dwelling units are helpful if you're a middle-class family and you have a grandparent who's fallen ill. You want to be able to keep a multi-generational household together. You can build a small ADU to help keep your family together, keep your grandma on site instead of sending home to a nursing home. I think that's really, really important to support our seniors. The resolution as it's written would restrict it to lots that are only 5,000 square feet or greater. That is very, very, very few lots in this neighborhood and this community board. And the people who own those lots tend to be the wealthiest and need this sort of support the least. Additionally, if we allow it to be capped at 400 square feet, those are tiny studios. Very few people are going to use that. I believe capping at the original 800 would allow people to actually use this program and support themselves long term. So those are my 2 thoughts.
Thank you very much. I now acknowledge the chair for ULERT, Ms. Chan.
So I just want to address this issue of whether or not it's conjecture, how many units we're able to build as of right, and how many units might come about as a result of the Universal Affordability Program. This isn't based on conjecture. It's based on extensive research, which we went over in the subcommittee. We downloaded city data for every lot in the district, and this is based on what the zoning is. The zoning in our district allows a tremendous amount more development than what exists today. And many of you have already seen that on your blocks. Homes that have been demolished, smaller buildings that have been demolished, and they've been replaced by luxury condo buildings. And none of that is going to be stopped by City of Yes. The developers will continue to have the right to do that. But if the market is a little weak, then they'll demolish the homes for a mixed income rental tower. So it's one of those, like heads I win, tails you lose type of situation. And there are, in fact, enormous rent-stabilized buildings that are also in this situation, all down Washington Avenue. it is zoned for far greater than, the size of the buildings that exist. There have already been threats to these buildings, landlords saying they were going to put 7 stories on top of a 4-story occupied building. And with a further density increase from City of Yes, this would push it over into demolition. Just to give you an idea, the Municipal Arts Society, which is a very well-respected urban planning group, has calculated that as of right, the city as a whole has the capacity to add over 1 million units of housing. So this is, not something that is totally crazy when we're saying that our district could add 25,000 units. Primarily, this isn't happening, the demolitions aren't happening usually because the price of the land is too high. But what the City of Yes would do is make it so that the land is, cheap, even though our houses look expensive. A house that's over $1 million looks expensive to us, but it looks cheap to a developer when they can build 20 condo units there. Jakob, you happen to live in a single-family zoning district, as do I, so nothing is going to happen in our districts, right? But we're talking about 3/4 of the rest of the community where it can happen. One of the things that we went over in subcommittee is that the majority of our district is covered by this R6 and R7 zoning that would be deeply affected by the universal affordability increases. And it's not the same in Park Slope. It's not the same in Carroll Gardens. They get like a 10% increase for most of their district. So this is what has us concerned. And I mean, yes, there are proposals that, we're not nearly as negative about, but on balance, and there are other, let me just say also, there are parts of City of Yes that don't affect us, like the office building conversion proposal, and we simply haven't commented on them.
One second. So I think I'm going to have a comment, and then we're going to open it up one more time for comments. So, and I'm going to try and be very brief, very quick. Thank you very much, Madam Chair. So for one, I think we really need to look at a lot of what City of Yes has been, and it's a citywide upzoning. Because at the end, that's what it really primarily represents. And part of the issue that we see is that it gives a lot away and creates, as of right, a lot of extra capacity that normally would be a conversation in the community. Where if you're going to go up, what is the community benefit that comes back? We don't have those conversations anymore because now these text amendments make it as of right. Part of the question or the issues is that it also incentivizes development, where it's like it makes more sense to do these things as opposed to having conversations around how do we make housing more affordable. I know that the argument from the Department of City Planning has been, well, nobody likes the status quo. Absolutely nobody likes the status quo. But what you need to consider is this an alternative that does anything better? I think part of what the conversation was with 962 Franklin is that, to say that we're going to create a lot of market rate stuff and you get some crumbs on top of that doesn't necessarily mean there's any affordability. If anything, what I think we found is that the market rate keeps rents high because everybody looks like a bargain next to the $5,000 apartment. So I think that those are the things we need to consider. And I've said it a couple times, but I think that what this represents is as benign as it seems, it creates an existential threat to what CB9 looks like. And it's real because there are a lot of other districts who can vote on this and say, yes, everyone should do their fair share. Everyone can do a little bit more. A little bit more won't be done in the Upper East Side. A little bit more won't be done in a number of other neighborhoods. A lot more will be done in Brooklyn CB9. So that is the reason why we need to make the stand in terms of understanding nobody's satisfied with the status quo, but this doesn't do it either, and if anything, it places our communities in even greater jeopardy than they are now.
Okay, I recognize Ms. Hands up those who have comments, please. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, one of them. So Jakob? Okay, Jakob? Ms. Robinson? Ms. Norville? And Ms. Westergaard. Can we close on Ms. Westerdahl? No.
Okay. So WABAS, CHCC. What we've been doing for years is saving the tenants' apartments. Okay? The landlord comes in, he wants to buy you out, he wants to shrink the rooms. My building alone, 941 Washington Avenue, rented $6,000. They took a 2-bedroom and made a 4-bedroom. They took a 1-bedroom, of course, made a 2, and a 3 was a 5. And the compartments was extremely small. So now we have lost the rent stabilization. So what the slumlord, which he's in court, and I'm fighting him very vigorously, what he is doing, he's tried to destabilize. We don't want that. Okay? We don't want that. So we don't need any more buildings here. You have a building that was built by Tilly Towers. There's 2 buildings. Oh, my goodness, now we're looking at 3. The density is too much. They're not talking about schools, they're not talking about hospitals, they're not talking about any of these things. It's too much. Yes, I was raised here. My parents they lived here 1970. So I know what's going on. It's too much.
Rabbi Berlin?
The hour is late. I have a quick comment and a question for the chair. I just want to reply, Suki. I want to say I object to you implying that somehow I'm living in a privileged part of the neighborhood, 1-family house, and I'm not going to be affected, and somehow that's influencing my decision making. First of all, it's factually incorrect. I'm surrounded by President Street, Crown Street. I don't own the home. I'm not going to live there forever, or I don't know how long I'm going to live there for, but I absolutely object to somehow implying that because of where I live, that's affecting my decision making. That's completely inappropriate. With regards to this resolution, I just want to say that there are some slight edits to the motion. There appears to be some slight edits to the resolution we passed at the ULIP committee. I'm not saying I object to them. They seem to be in a positive direction. If somebody could clarify when those edits were made. Thank you so much. Bye.
Okay. All right. Yeah, so those edits were done. We're cooking and we're baking up until the last minute, because absolutely understanding we had a very, very significant time crunch with this. So some of these were based on some feedback that I had, and I did this in conjunction with the land use chair as well, where I ran that by her. So it's before the board, and obviously.
in the higher zone. Those houses have so much pressure to be developed because of the higher zone. That's going to happen in my neighborhood. And I am really afraid because what happens is people are getting pressured and they're getting strict. And when you think you're getting $1 million, and then where do you go? And what do? And then you got your tenants. And then they build over your building and they take away the air rights. And it goes up and up and up. There's this thing with air rights that the historic district can sell their air rights and build even higher on the corridors. This is very, very dangerous. And we already have a ton of development happening all around us. We're producing thousands. And it's getting really tight with the air, with the sun, with the breathing. We're going to have 1,000 units. This is too much. And the parking is going to go away. They're not accommodating even for bike racks or micro mobility devices. They're just stretching right beside and the tires just about tiny units. And this isn't a good way to live. We have families that need to live there. So this is not, I'm for this resolution. Thank you for your work.
Board members, all those who have a question? I did close on Ms. Ressola, but come up quickly. Unless you can project the voice.
One of the provisions that I think, one of the provisions you're talking about is, I guess, it's about the ADUs. It's the accessory dwelling unit.
There was concern that the Department of City Planning's proposal would permit not only basement, attic, ADUs or additions to the back of the house, but also like a separate building in the backyard that could be right on your neighbor's property line and go up to 2 stories. So our thinking was that that would be okay if we limited the height and the size, and it was on a sufficiently large lot, because for those who have attached houses, people were saying it wouldn't really be possible anyway because there's no access to the back. So that was our thinking on putting some limits on that.
Even longer than me. She's an elderly woman, and she brought in 2 of her grandchildren to watch her, and they made some kind of a, I don't know if I can say this, but they made some kind of like a basement apartment for, and they developed a way to make an opening, an entryway. So I don't know if I agree with that, and I feel like in my areas alone, there are so many people that have lived there for 30, 40, 50 years, and they are struggling. They're all retired, they're elderly people. They sometimes want to bring in a grandchild or somebody. Something needs to be fixed. They're going to knock on our door. My husband runs to help them, and they're like, we want to put someone in, but we have to do it legally, and we can't do it legally. So I don't know.
Okay, do you want us to clarify that our concern was not about basement ADUs or extensions to the back of the house, but for like these separate structures? Like there are issues people brought up at the meeting, that there are people who have like somebody living in their garage, for instance, in a manner that is like not particularly safe or sanitary or anything like that. And I think our concern is really about those kind of like separate structures, not the basements, not the extensions to the back of the house.
I would just want him to be able to clarify what he was saying was
Okay.
basically size, right? The size thing.
My disagreement is that I believe we have a cap right now, 5,000 square feet on lot size. I believe that cap is too high. I believe that there are very few lots which are over 5,000 square feet. So very few people will be able to use this program because we need to have a lot over 5,000. Yes.
Well, yeah, hold on. We can't keep going on and on. Part of what,
Do you
part
want
of-
to make a proposal to clarify that our statement does not apply to basements and it does not apply to attached additions to the house? It's only about these kind of like separated, detached backyard EDUs. Okay, okay.
Because I see that as our neighborhood gets older and older, this is what's happening. They're straining to stay there, and that's why they're being bought out of their houses because they can't afford the upkeep, or they're too old. They need to bring in someone to help them. All these type of things have come up.
And I also want to clarify that the issue of whether or not a basement is habitable is actually determined by state law, not by city zoning law. And so there is, in the state budget, they passed a pilot for basement conversions that was opt-in by Community Board. Apparently Community Board 9 was not one of the designated ones, but I've already asked Fred and Dante to make inquiries about what that would take, because I am aware that there are people who want to be able to use their basements for their families. So it's
And
really...
what about going up? Let's say going up the floor.
Oh, okay.
That also-
I apologize, but we do need to move on this. So now, Mrs. Cohen, did you wish to make an amendment to this about, okay, what is it you wish to amend? What is the change you want to make?
So I move to adjust the resolution that we have, to clarify that we have no objections to basements and adding on to the existing structure.
Okay, to amend the no objection to basements, and what was the second part?
And to add to the existing structure. She was disturbed about garages or stuff in the back, building in the back. No, but
And-
if we want to add, let's say
So,
something
so
to
the structure exists in addition to existing structures?
Exactly.
Okay, all right, so it's duly noted. So the amendment is that there are no objections to basements and additions to existing structures. All right. Is there any objection? Yes.
Okay, I think there should be some limit put on adding on to existing structures. Because then someone could buy a property and put up a 4-story house. Like, that's what's being done now. It's being done on our block. So I think if we clarify it a little more, then
One of the whole points of our City of Yes resolution is that the existing zoning is really mismatched to what we have. It doesn't allow people to add 500 square feet or 1,000 square feet. It allows people to add like 3, 4, 5,000 square feet to their houses, which is not what we all want to see. And so our condition was that we would like to see Community Board 9 exempted from the UAP unless and until our zoning density is matched more closely to our built density, which would be the situation where we'd be able to add a little bit if we wanted to, but not crazy amounts. And it's still subject usually to backyard requirements and side yard requirements and so on.
Okay, let me add this, just this one comment. I think that perhaps maybe what we need to do is, as opposed to really engineering this, I think it's sufficient to say that I think we agree on if there's an ADU, grandfather it, make it legal. But I think part of the entire conversation and argument is these are conversations that should come before the board, because then you can say, listen, make an argument as to why you should have a bigger space. You can talk about the size of your lot. You can talk about what the needs are. There are mechanisms already in place, because I think that's the issue with the City of Yes and the housing we've been saying, is that we're giving away too much in terms of things that should be conversations. Because to that point, instead of somebody building 4 stories because it's as of right, no, it's a conversation. Why are you doing this? Why should we be doing this? What is the justification? And I think as communities and neighbors, we can understand, yeah, okay, maybe somebody needs a couple, a little bit additional height. Not 4 stories, but I think we're compassionate enough to do that. But I think that's a conversation that should be had, so perhaps we should strike that portion, just leave it at, we're okay with ADUs, grandfathered, legalized, but the rest is the conversation. All right, so I offer that as an amendment. Is there anybody who objects to that? Okay. ADUs is something totally different. ADUs is different. It's not about Botanic Garden. 1 and 2 family houses who are trying to build something in the backyard. Okay? All right? Okay. Are there any other questions? Yes, Mr. Robinson. Davidson, I'm sorry. Sorry about that.
I think the point you're making about the I think there are practical challenges to going because they know they have to go to the community board, go through this process. And people who are going to go through this process, people who are traditionally the ones who know the most about how to access government, who are maybe English language is their first language. And there are fundamental issues, I think, with going through the community board for every ADU. What I think might be a good compromise is going back to Joel's point earlier. If it's going to be a base level ADU and it's attached or just a small detached unit, you can do that as of right. If you want to do 2 stories, you've got to go to the community. Because that can impact your neighbors. Does that make sense? Am I making sense?
It makes sense, but I think that even alternatively, there's ways to do that in terms of if it's access, we can argue for that as a community board as well. In terms of this accessibility, making sure people are able to do it. I think that's a conversation to be had. And that doesn't require the text amendment, I don't believe.
No, I guess I think we should be done as of right. We should be allowed to build the ADU in the vast majority of cases that way.
Okay. No, duly noted. Duly noted. All right. Okay, well, let me ask this. So there is an amendment on the floor. All those in favor of the amendment, let's do this quickly so we can get this done. All those in favor of the amendments, please say aye. All those opposed, please say no. Any abstentions? Okay, I hear the majority in favor, the amendment carries, so it's going to be altered so it includes the grandfathering and the legalization of existing. The rest is going to be a conversation. So with that being said, I think we've dealt with the amendment. We are back to the main motion, the adoption of the agenda. We've already completed, we'll let you have one last comment, but then we need to move on. Okay, all right. So as we've done that, at this time, Madam Chair, please call for the vote.
A vote yes is to accept, a vote no is against.
The amendment has already passed, so we are talking about the resolution as amended.
As amended,
The
yeah.
ADUs.
As amended, yeah. All those in favor? Aye. All those in favor, I didn't hear you, aye? Aye. Okay, and noes? May you state your name, please? Okay. Any abstentions? No, yes, noes, please raise your hand.
Let's take on the noes first. Who's voting no? Please no Matt Davidson. Please no Rabbi Berman. And I'm sorry, I'm still getting names. Josh Joshua.
Yes. Yes, you're supporting the resolution. No, you're voting against it.
Hold on one second. We'll get to this thing. Are there any other no's? Okay. That's all the no's. Anyone who wishes to abstain, please raise your. All right. right. Courtenay Loisel. Member Eve Havicon. Anyone else who wishes to abstain? Member Catherine Bucello. Or Kat, if you prefer. Kat Bucello. Yeah, no, understood, but we're in the voting session, so we can't even take the comments. The vote is all we can record at this time. But definitely that's a conversation. If you wish to bring it back in committee, we can do that later on. All right, is there anyone else who wishes to abstain? Okay, hearing none. I heard a majority, well, Madam Chair, what did you hear?
Okay, the resolution has passed.
Okay,
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. All right, we're going to try and go through these very quickly. All right, zoning framework. So the Land Use Committee also created a zoning framework, which essentially is principles for which we're looking in any development that happens in the district. 3 main values, principles that have been stated, along with some additional information. Is there anyone who wishes to place the motion on the floor to adopt this resolution, this framework? I have it moved by Yanela Rompera. Do I have a second? I have a second by Demi Timothy. All right, we will open the floor for questions. Any questions? Any questions, comments? Call for a second time. Any questions, comments? Hearing none, we close the floor. At this time, all those in favor of adopting the framework, please say aye. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. Call again. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. Madam Assistant District Manager, please no objections. Get to that. All those who wish to abstain, please state your name for the record. Please record Rabbi Yaakov Berman. Anybody else who wishes to abstain? Hearing no other abstentions, I hear a majority of the board voted. Oh, Ms. Cohen, abstention? Ms. Cohen is abstaining as well. No, we have to record the no's. The thing is, we have to record no's and the abstentions. That has to be recorded because everybody else is a yes. So we have to make sure that that is recorded for the record. We're going to try and get through this as quickly as possible. All right, we are now into the SLA applications. All right, we heard from 2 applicants today. Now, here's what's going to happen, okay? I need everybody to be very locked in and focused. There are 2 applications. We're going to vote on those. Those who have not shown up, we need to dispose of them. As they have not come, I think the practice we need to look at is if they haven't come, then we cannot approve the application. Okay? Similarly, you're going to have another motion after that for anyone who has not had it disposed of. If they didn't show up for a board vote for a vote, it's a no at this time. Are we clear? All right, so we're going to take it in parts. I think at this point we're doing it for all of them. Yeah. There's only, I know it hasn't been, but the thing is this. We only asked them to come twice before the board. We only asked for them to come twice. Okay, all right. So first application is for Masatunde, 708 Parkside Avenue. It's for a full wine, beer, cider license in retail. They appeared before the Public Safety Committee. The Public Safety Committee voted in favor. At this time, well, as it's been recommended by the committee, yes, it's been recommended by the committee. It doesn't require to be put on the floor. They presented this evening. At this time, we will take on readiness on the motion. Is there anyone who wishes to speak on this recommendation to approve? Call for a second time. Anybody who wishes to speak on this recommendation to approve? Hearing none, we will call the question. All those in favor of recommending Masatunde for approval to the SLA, please say aye. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. None in opposition, Mayor. All those who wish to abstain, please raise your hand so we can mark it for the record. All those who wish to abstain, please raise your hand for the record. Mia, please note, no abstentions. Motion carries. All right, we are now going to go on to Taqueria El Patron Mexican Grill, Cupcakes by Brenda Grill. So they were before, this is at 51 Lincoln Road. They were before the, this is a renewal application. They were before the Public Safety Committee, which was voted to recommend. They appeared this evening. At this time, the recommendation is before the board. Are there any questions? Seeing none, we will call the question. All those in favor, please say aye. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. Call again. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. Mia, please record no objections. Anyone who wishes to abstain, please state your name for the record. Okay, hearing none. No abstentions. Motion carries. It's recommended to the SLA. All right, we have 3 applications that did not show up. We have Bomberino LLC, we have New Era Restaurant, and we have 665 Flatbush Bar. So, the recommendation on the floor, well actually, I will entertain a motion at this point to disapprove of the application without prejudice. Well, no, to disapprove of the application. Yes, go ahead. Well, hold on. Well, that should actually be part of the conversation. But let's do this first. Let's get a motion on the floor. Well, let's do this first, and that can be part of it. And if we need to break it out, we can break it out. Is there a motion on the floor to disapprove the applications? Move of the 3 applications for Bomberino, for New Era, all of them. They haven't been here tonight. Is that a second? Seconded by Lori Ann Wolston. Thank you very much. Okay. Yeah, we'll take comments right now. So, Ms. Cohen, I see you. Anyone else who wishes to speak? Rabbi Berman, I have you as well. Yeah. Who else wishes to speak?
Hi.
Mina Lagut, I have you as well. Anyone else who wishes to speak? Okay. I'm going to add my name to this, Madam.
Okay, so my question is that we've had other people that have not come here and have gotten their licenses. When we voted no, not only that they didn't come here, we didn't want to give them a license. So I don't really understand this purpose, because once we say yes in the committee, they're taking that and they're submitting that and they're getting their licenses, because that's what happened with the last time when we had the restaurant that we didn't want, that we all voted no, and they have a license. So I think that most of the people that are coming to us in committee are thinking, okay, they're taking that yes from us in the committee, they submit it, and they're getting their license, so they don't need to come here.
Thank you. Just quickly, I was the former chair of public safety for 3 years. Renewal licenses are not required to come before the board. Sometimes they do. So what I'm going to, and new licenses do have to come. And Javi Cohen's right. Sometimes when we do nothing, the state grants it anyway. So I agree with the chair. If somebody has a new license, is applying for the first time, that doesn't show the respect to the community to come before the board, we definitely should take action and write a letter that we oppose, because they haven't come, the community had no input, and they're required to come. But renewals, because historically we voted on renewals, and I don't know if the public safety chair is here, unless it was communicated to the store that who is? Okay. Unless you communicated to the stores that are coming for renewal that they're required to come, and not coming, I feel we should not take action on renewals, but on new applications we should oppose. So therefore I want to amend the motion that it should only apply to new applications. We should take no action on renewals. Thank you.
Second.
Okay, we have fun. So there's an amendment on the floor. So, new speakers list. So you have Rabbi Berman, so you have Mina's on the original list, and I'm on the original list. New speakers list for the amendment. I'm going to raise my hand for that. I think there's some questions that need to be answered. Anybody else who wishes to speak on the amendment? Anyone else who wishes to speak on the amendment? Anybody else who wishes to speak on the amendment? Okay. We're going to close the list on those three names. So it's myself, Ms. Cobb, Mr. Davidson. All right. To the first point, I understand what past practice has been, but I think that's part of the reason why we're taking this new direction, because we've been burned by past practice. I think what we're looking to do is be consistent. If you show up, the only thing, and again to the point, the only requirement we have is you show up to the Public Safety Committee meeting and you show up before the board. That is it. After that, I mean, really, all you need to do is be a good neighbor. Don't end up having fights in front of your establishment and all kinds of other, and don't have any health and safety violations. So I think it's important that we set that as the rule. It's the rule. And I think it's especially critical that we set that for the renewals, because we need to know that you are going to continue to be a good neighbor. It's nice that you've been good. It's nice you've been there. But I think as a board, we need to continue that relationship and that respect where we need to see you. Come, let us know if there have been changes. The community deserves to know that. We deserve to know that, and I think that's at least that sign of respect that we should enforce. It's not something that's onerous. You come twice in a month, and after that, we don't see you again for 2 years. But I think we need to stand by that. And that's going to, that conversation is going to go a little bit into some of the other conversations we have about why we're going to disapprove some of these other applications. Again, if they don't show up, they've told us everything we need to know. Thank you very much. Ms. Cobb.
Ms. Cobb?
Okay, Ms. Cobb Williams. Mr. Davidson.
Can you just briefly describe the amendment, please? There's a lot of yelling back and
The,
forth. So that'd be helpful.
the amendment was to approve, okay, the amendment was to approve, to automatically approve the renewal.
No, that wasn't the amendment. The
Please
amendment
say.
was that new applicant did not show up to the board, did not show up to the board. The chair suggested we send a letter to deny your application. The amendment was to only do that for new applicants. For renewal applications, to take no action. That means not to support, not to object. New applicants, reject if they haven't shown. Renewals, take no action, not to support and not to object. Leave it at that.
Okay. You good? Okay. And also, just as a point of information, and the district manager can confirm, we reached out to all applicants and advised them, and I'm pretty sure I said it, and Ms. Cohen, please keep me honest. I told them at the meeting, you have 2 meetings to come to. The public safety meeting, and you have the board, and I told them the date, June 24th. So there was no surprise that was done here. Everyone was advised before they left the room, you need to be here on the 24th. And I understand never rejected, but what at the same time I'm saying is this is a new direction we need to go in as a board. Ms. Cobb, hold on, Ms. Cobb, and then we'll.
If you do not come to the general meeting, it is very likely that you will not get approved. That is something that is very great for them to know going into it, because if they're going to the committee feeling like they're getting approved and that's it, I feel like having that last layer of, if you do not show up for the general meeting, to speak to the rest of the community about your business, because that's the difference between committee and the general, that you will not be approved by the general board.
Points well taken, and absolutely that's going to be part of the communication, and that's actually part of something we're going to look to add as part of the actual questionnaires. So they will have that when they walk in the door, 2 days, and if you don't show up, that's what you risk.
Because you just mentioned this, we don't actually have a time frame on this. And so that's where I think we're coming into objections of individuals that if they are coming up for renewal, that has not been communicated. And they're working off of a previous process and procedure. So what I'm just asking, and we probably can't state it right now because we're adjourning until September, will this become part of our process and procedure in the upcoming applications that are coming? And of those that did not appear tonight, will they be notified because of them not appearing that we have now placed this into action, or looking into placing this into an action?
Those who aren't here, they will receive the notice that they have not been approved by the board because of non-appearance. It is definitely something that we're looking at as included as a process going forward, where there is an actual notification. This one we were able to give verbally at the meeting where they knew that they needed to show for this meeting, but on a go forward, absolutely that's going to be something that's documented, and that's an expectation set by CD9. Okay? All right, we've exhausted the speakers. At this time, we are going to call the vote. Okay, so if you vote yes in favor of the amendment, that means we will approve, we will then vote to approve, we will then vote to disapprove of the new applications that did not show, and the renewals we're going to leave alone, and that'll be left. Is it understood? We clear? Yeah, the new applications will be disapproved. Okay, are we clear? So, all those in favor of the amendment, please say aye. Okay. All those in opposition, please say no. Oh, please state your name for the record. All right. Mia, please note me in opposition, please. Who else wishes? Ms. Etienne is also voting in opposition. Anyone else who wishes to vote in opposition? I'm sorry? Yeah, I'm checking. Is there anybody else who wishes to vote in opposition? Are there any abstentions? Okay. I'm sorry. One abstention. Okay. Joshua, yeah. Okay. All right. So hearing that, the motion carries, the amendment is adopted. So we are back to the original motion. So the motion is to deny the two new applications, and we take no action on the renewal. Is that correct? Okay. All right. We don't have to talk about this, do we? We're all good? Okay. All those in favor, please say aye. All right. All those in opposition, please say no. State your name for the record. All those who wish to oppose. Okay. All those who wish to abstain, please state your name for the record. Please put me down as an abstention. All right. Is there anyone who wishes to abstain? Okay. Hearing none. The motion carries. The office will send a letter of disapproval for the two new applications, and the board will take no action on the renewal. All right. Thank you. Now, we do have a number of applications. We do have all the OCM applications. Well, two last motions. We have an OCM We have an OCM application. They did not show, well, no, they did come. There's an issue with their application. I mentioned this before. An issue with the application regarding the location. So the motion by the committee was to deny the application, without prejudice. So if they fix the application, they can come back before the board. Are we clear? All right, so that is the motion on the, well, do I have someone who will take the motion? Anybody wishes to make that motion? Ms. Cohen moves that. Do I have a second? Ms. Robertson. Okay, thank you. All right. All those in favor. Oh, is there any questions? Anybody need clarification? Okay, hearing none. All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye. All those who oppose, please say no. State your name for the record. Please note none in opposition. All those who wish to abstain, please state your name for the record. Okay, none abstain. Please note, is Rabbi Berman still here? I thought I saw him move. Okay, please note that Rabbi Berman has left already, so don't put a vote for him. There's no vote for Rabbi Berman. Okay, all right. So at this time, all right, we are 25. All right, so this time we are now going to, here's one more motion for OCM. We have a number of applications that have not come, they have not been responsive to the board. Same scenario. They have not come to the board. They either have not come to the Public Safety Committee meeting, or they have not come to the board for a final vote. So the motion by the committee was to not recommend all of these applications. And that's what's going to go to the Office of Cannabis Management. Are we clear? All right. Do I have a motion to adopt that? Moved by Francisco Leopold. Do I have a second? I say second by Lisa Etienne. All right. Moved and seconded. Remember, so this is to disapprove. So this is going to take every application that's on there. If they haven't come by now, that's a no for us. Is that clear? All those in favor, please say aye. All right. All those who wish to oppose, please state your name. Okay, hearing none. All those who wish to abstain, please state your name for the record. I hear no abstentions. Please note that the motion is carried. The recommendation is to disapprove all those remaining applications. Okay, we are Parks. The Parks resolution. We have two last resolutions. The Parks resolution has been presented before the board. This is regarding Mount Prospect. Okay, so it's been approved by Parks. It's before the board at this time. Are there any questions as it comes from the committee? Are there any questions with regards to this? It did not get approved by Parks. It's coming straight to the board. It's straight to the board. Ms. Bill, can you hang for 2 minutes? Hold on. All right. Okay, all right. So no, we have last couple of motions and we're almost done. Okay, so at this time, the Parks resolution was out part of the package. So that went out to the part of the package that went out to the board members. So at this time, is there any motion? Well, actually, yeah. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution for Parks? Parks Board. Okay, it's moved by Ms. Westerdahl. Do I have a second? A second by Ms. Hartman. By Member Hartman. Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any questions? Mr. Norville. I'm sorry? Sure, hold on 1 second. So, yeah. Oh, is it an email? Oh, okay. Right. So basically, it's about Mount Prospect. It's about the skate park, the proposed skate park that's in Mount Prospect. Okay. So it's in opposition to that. All right. Are there any other questions? I'm sorry. That'll be a vote. Well, do you wish to make a comment? You have the floor if you want to say something now. Okay, duly noted. All right, at this time, we're going to call the question. All those in favor of the resolution in opposition to the skate park in Mount Prospect, please say aye. All right, all those who are opposed, please state your name for the record. Okay, please note Member Cobb is in opposition. Jolene Cobb. Is there anyone else who wishes to vote no? Please state your name for the record. Okay, hearing no other in opposition. Anyone who wishes to abstain on the motion, please state your name for the record. Francisca Leopold, please, Member Leopold, Second Vice Chair. Anyone else who wishes to abstain, please state your name for the record. Please note Joshua. Please note Ethan Norville. Please note Courtney Loisel. Please note Max Davidson. Anyone else who wishes to abstain? Okay, please note those abstentions. All right, hearing majority of the board in favor, the motion carries. Thank you. All right, we now have last resolution to be considered this evening, the transportation resolution for the stand guidelines. Those were previously presented during the public session. Those have been distributed to the board. It passed in committee, correct? So it's already passed in committee. It is now before the board. At this time, we will take comments on this resolution. Is there anyone who wishes to comment or has any questions with regards to this resolution? Yes. Right. It's the same. It's the same that was distributed, correct? It's what? No, but not in the package is what. Yes, what was distributed to the board is the current form of it. No, those are the only two differences. The ones for housing, for the 962 and City of Yes are the only two that were different. Everything else is what was in your packet. Okay? All right. Yes.
I'm here for the meeting, and I would like to get comments, so if people make comments, then please use the mic or repeat what they're saying.
Absolutely. Duly noted. All right. Okay. Any other board members with questions? Ms. Bernard, we're only doing board members. We're in this. Right now, we are voting on the transportation stand guidelines. The stand guidelines. Okay? Are there any other questions with regards from the board members regarding the stand guidelines? Okay. Yes, Ms. Loisel. Hold on one second. They're going to bring the mic so that way you can hear.
This might be a little bit of a comment, but I don't see that accessibility for wheelchairs is addressed in the placement of the city bikes. Is that in here somewhere and I just didn't see it? Can I suggest a friendly amendment to, regarding the city bike stations, just add, instead of enough space, maybe also add and accessible to wheeled mobility devices or something like that?
Is there any objection to the amendment to add accessibility? I like you guys. All right, so that text will be added to the motion to add accessibility. All right, are there any other questions, comments regarding this motion? All right, hearing none. Yes, Ms. Westwell, yes.
I just want to make a comment about the car share program. It's active in my neighborhood, and it has been a nightmare for my neighbors. One of my neighbors today was very, very upset. She went to court. She's had to pay over $400 in fines because of the car share program, because they have this painted area where the cars originally were parked, and they moved the sign, and then she parked where the sign was moved to, not understanding the difference. So she lives there on a corner, and she's sweeping, she's cleaning, because they don't clean up. They throw garbage out into her tree pits, into the street. The leaves are there, and they're basically taking 6 spots now. And if you park in the spot where the little sign is, you get a ticket. If you park, but everybody with the car parks in the spot that's painted. So this program is horrible. So I do not want this car share program at all in any neighborhood. It's not well run. A good idea, but terrible.
No, thank you very much for the comment. Okay, all right. Okay. Very quickly, if you can. All right, let's do this. Last call. Any comments? We're going to take it now, and then we're going to call the vote. Okay. Any other comments? All right, we're going to close on Ms. Morgan.
Yeah, Teresa, I appreciate your comments there. The stand guidelines are the result of research on that, and we've seen a lot of people have issues with car share and stuff like that, and the point of it is to make sure that the car share rollout happens either slightly, or if more added, they're added with input, from the community board itself. I mean, right, it's meant, yeah, it's here to remedy that, so people don't get those tickets and it doesn't happen as happening right now. Because the way it is, we were kind of cut out from the process of the rollout, and with this guidelines implemented, it will hopefully be a bigger part of that process, and it wouldn't happen the way it happened before.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much. All right. So that closes discussion. At this time, we're going to call the question. All those in favor of approving the stand guidelines as amended, please say aye. All those opposed, please state your name for the record. Okay. Ms. LaBarry, right? Okay. Ms. LaBarry is no. Anyone else who wishes to vote in opposition? Call for a second time. Anybody who wishes to vote in opposition? Okay, none in opposition. Anyone who wishes to abstain, please state your name for the record. Call for a second time. Anybody who wishes to abstain, please state your name for the record. Please note no abstentions. I hear a majority of the board. The motion carries. The guidelines are adopted. Okay. All right. We have completed the voting items at this time. There was one piece I know of new business. Did you want to introduce that new business at this time? One piece of new business, and then we're going to have the results of the election. Please come forward, Mr. Rosenberg.
Hello again. I wanted to bring up a motion. As a member of the Transportation Committee, I was appalled to hear that the Vital Brooklyn project, which is adding almost 1,100 units without any parking provisions. And I can just imagine, and I know that parking is as difficult as it is in Crown Heights. This is just going to exacerbate the problem. And I think that I would propose a motion to oppose the current plans for this project until adequate parking can be made available in order to alleviate. And the last thing you want to do when you build new housing is to negatively impact all the existing residents in the neighborhood. And so that's why I want to put forward a motion to oppose current plans. Vital Brooklyn, the Tech, Facebook, Psych, yes.
Okay, hold on. All right, so let me just restate your motion. So your motion is for CB9 to oppose the what? The current plans until provisions are made for until provisions are made for sufficient parking for the unit. For the plan units. All right. No. So the motion's been laid forth for the board. All right. I had a second by Ms. Westerdahl. All right. Is there any additional questions? Mr. Davidson.
It's been a long meeting, and this is something which I personally don't know anything about, and I think it would be helpful for everyone to be able to evaluate this through the normal process and look at it in September or during the next meeting to actually give us consideration.
Okay. Well, hold on. So actually, you know what? You do have an opportunity, spotters, to make the motion. Go ahead.
I was made aware that Letitia James is about to sign off on this project, so therefore it's something that we can't wait for. So that's why I'm doing this motion right now.
Okay. All right. Yes, Suki. Hold on. Suki, use the microphone, please.
An environmental impact statement was done for this project, and it did raise concerns about transportation in particular and parking. I'm not sure parking, but I know transportation. Was that challenged? Was that EIS raised in communications with the state or elected officials, and what was the response?
I put in an objection, but there hasn't been anything from that's why we're here now.
We're in business session. Do you have a response? Do you have knowledge of that, or? Okay. We don't have specific knowledge, but that can be something that as a board, the district manager and I can work to see if we can get additional information on that. Okay. Are there any other questions, comments? Okay. Oh, yes, I'm sorry, sir.
So the alternative is to add more parking for the building, right? Is there any thoughts about the traffic that would induce in the area? And also, does the building come with bike? I know there's bike sharing or anything like that. So can you comment on that? And what's the counter to this?
Okay, please order.
My understanding is that I'm not familiar with the environmental impact study that was done. Well, I was made aware that because the entire Crown Heights is considered a transportation hub or something, so that it seems like even if you build gigantic buildings, you're not restricted by certain parking laws. A lot of buildings that, or there used to be rules that in order to build a large building, you have to provide adequate parking, unless you're in a transportation hub. Now, usually a transportation or hub would be, an avenue or a boulevard or something like that. But in this case, it seems like because the entire community has been labeled a transportation hub, so they're able to bypass those rules. But my understanding is that there isn't enough, not enough thought was given or plans to handle all the extra, traffic, both for people as well, bikes or, cars or anything like that. No, there's no train. That's another problem. There's no train stations in the area.
All right, and listen, I understand. So this is something that's been an issue in a conversation in the board. I'm not sure how much will get resolved because a lot of this has been on the state level. But at the very least, I think we're going on record, we can open the conversation to see if what can be done in terms of the board or in terms of the project. So at this time, we are going to close. Yeah, I think we've seen the last comment. We are going to call the question. All those in favor of the motion, as stated, please say aye. Okay. All those opposed, please say no. Or state your name for the record. I see Member Mazursky. Anyone else who wishes to vote no? Call for a second time. Anybody who wishes to vote no? Okay. Anyone who wishes to abstain, please state your name for the record. Mr. Davidson? Ms. Loisel? Ms. Hartley? Anyone else who wishes to abstain? Joshua? Anyone else who wishes to abstain? Okay. Recognizing the noes and the abstentions, I hear a majority vote of the board. Motion carries. So we'll take it from there. We'll communicate with the state. Okay. At this time, we're almost done. I would just ask if the nominations chair could please come forward.
Is everybody awake? Okay, so we have some results here with one runoff for member at large. The chairperson, Mr. Baptiste, received 26 votes. First vice chair, Mr. Norville, received 23 votes. Myself, Debbie, I received 1 vote. Thank you. Second vice chairperson, Felice, 26 votes. Executive Secretary Linda Watson-Lord received 25 votes. Our Treasurer, Nina Legute, 25 votes. And Mr. Almoner received 20 votes with Mr. Benyomin and Teresa Westerdahl at 14 each. So we have to do a runoff, which we are going to do right now. Committee members? Yikes.
All right, I'm not sure it's even a matter of the quorum. If we have a quorum, we have to leave. So that is going to be the big thing. We're not going to be able to conduct the second runoff and be able to get the results out. It's in the bylaws, but if we have to leave, we have to adjourn. That's a public safety issue. We don't have that with the. I'm sorry. Right, no, because we have to distribute paper ballots again, have all those done, and then still count them. We do not have sufficient time to do that. We've got to get out of here in about 3 minutes. So that is the reason why. It's because of time. That's the only reason why we can't do that. All right. So at this time, we're going to have to adjourn the meeting, like in a minute. So we're going to table the election until September. And in September, that'll be the first order of business. We'll be able to elect the second member at large. All right. Okay, so as we have completed the agenda, just very quickly, thank you. Thank you to all the members. Thank you to the community who's come out. I want to thank you for your service. Please make sure you are staying in touch with the board, looking at your communications. We're going to try and do our best to make sure that there's trainings, opportunities available, opportunities to just meet fellow board members, and just be able to be neighbors and communicate with the community. Everyone, thanks. Everyone, thank you very much. We stand adjourned. The time is now 9:40.
And I want to thank my two co-pilots.